live. I think the resolution's no good. Okay, this is like the 5th time I'm trying to stream, so I'm assuming it's not gonna work, but we'll try anyway. I restarted my computer. If it works, it'll be a miracle. I really don't see it working. It always hangs up on. Okay, it's working. Okay, hopefully if we can stream for another like minute, then we'll know it's gonna work. Alright, I think we would be okay. Wow. There we go. Alright, now that's working, let me connect my stuff. Is it working? I don't know if it's working or not. On Twitch, it says it's still trying to send the data. Okay, so it keeps saying I'm online and then offline. I am concerned. Okay, so when I'm on Twitch, it seems to be working. But if I'm looking at my other software, so now it's dropping frames. I don't know why it's dropping frames. It's dropping a lot of frames on Twitch. Oh my god. I don't know why this is happening. This is concerning. I'm hoping it just straightens out. I'm going on to my Periscope right now, so if you're in the chat, let me know. It sucks too, because every time I start the stream, it always tweets out that I'm online everywhere, and I have to go and delete like 5 broadcasts that I made, and people retweeted all of them. Oh my god. So it seems like the audio is consistent, but the video is kind of cutting in and out. Oh my god, I have to delete so many of these tweets. That's so annoying. If anyone's watching me on Twitter, hey, what's up, MattManPS2? Happy Friday. I really don't know if the stream is going to stay up. It keeps crashing and skipping frames, so I'm trying to figure all that out. I hope you're doing good. Hope you're going to be able to take a break over the weekend and stuff. It seems to be working better. You're frozen, okay. But can you hear my audio? Can you hear my audio? I think that's the... But yeah, it's telling me that like I'm dropping like half my frames. Yeah, I hear you, okay. Yeah, so I was trying to improve the quality of the stream, because as you said, it was at some random resolution. And then it just kind of stopped working well. And then when I lowered it again, now it's still no longer working, so... I have no idea what I'm really doing. Oh yeah, it's not even working. So I don't know if I should just not stream right now and try to figure it out. Probably. I'm gonna have to. I don't know. I might have to drop the stream. I'll go online if I can. Because I wanted to like play some games and do coding and stuff. So I think I'm gonna dip. It's just hard because to test it out, I have to stream. It's bad video. Let me look at my settings. Back. It could be my internet actually. I did drop to the old settings and now it's no longer working. It's really weird. But I noticed my internet was kind of slow on this computer. Alright, testing this out again. I'm using another device to do some stuff. I feel like this isn't gonna work. Okay. It looks okay.
Say that again?
No.
Sorry, I don't know that. If you have a minute, I can show you a few things I can do. Do you want to hear more?
No. Okay, so it's working okay right now. We might be good. It looks like I'm just worried about Twitch, but we haven't gotten any warnings yet, so it looks like we might be okay. I'm gonna open up everything I want open so that we're ready to go. I think we're actually okay. Alright, awesome. Yeah, it's definitely working now. Okay, that was weird. I'm just gonna put my phone on the screen. Okay, welcome to, oh, so now it's saying we're dropping frames. But it looks like we're doing okay. Oh my god, I'm nervous. Okay, it seems like we're going okay, so I'm just gonna keep going as if it's going okay. This is welcome to the Emoji Popcast live stream. I stream Monday through Friday. I try to start around at least 10 a.m. At the latest California time. And for 3 or 4 hours, I develop my game and play other games that people post in our mobile indie game dev group. So it's not okay here. So like I like to look at what kind of games people are posting in this group, and we play them as well as like the popular trending games and the games that you make as part of this community. We like to discuss them and stuff like that. Let me know in the chat if the stream is good or bad, because I've been working on it for the last like hour and a half, and I think it's working adequately now, but it's saying it's dropping frames, but I'm watching it on the side and it looks pretty good to me actually. At least like functional. Yeah, so I thought I'd like to start off the day playing Hex Stars, which is made by someone in our group called MatmanPS2. I saw I loaded it for the bomb level, so I wanted to try that. Turn the brightness up. Yeah, let me 1 second. Let me unmute. Okay, so this is a new mode in the game that's just like was put in the other day. Oh man, jetpack is great for going to like a totally different place. Oh, I messed it up. I wanted to see if I could play. So I made a video about this game just yesterday on YouTube. You can find me at Emoji Popcast, and it was kind of about how this game is kind of inspired by the Fall Guys kind of trend of like a multiplayer kind of competitive race with obstacles or whatever it is. And I kind of compared the Fall Guys clones that directly clone the gameplay to Hex Stars, which I think translates the gameplay to maximize its engagement for mobile players. So I made a video about that recently, so it's been really fun to kind of follow this game and check out all the new stuff they're adding. Oops, it fell through. I feel like this is a newer layout of hexes that I haven't seen as much. I like that there's new layouts. Oh man, I messed up. I just need to survive at this bottom thing now. I love the strategy. I love all the little dynamic strategies that emerge from this simple gameplay. So it's a little choppy, the stream, I think, but it gets the point across, I think. I'm sure you can at least hear my voice consistently. I'm gonna close the stream just so I'm using less bandwidth or whatever. Alright. One more time. Got the jetpack right away. I'm going to use it to kind of bully people around. Oh, I screwed myself though. Got the jetpack again. I'm going to see if I can take out this whole level. Oh, someone hit me. Hey, what's up, Kessels? Ozone, your video and audio is fine. The mobile view is a little choppy sometimes. Okay, that's really good to know. Matt PS2, I'm back. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the stream. Let me know if anything's going on with any of your games. I thought I'd just play a little bit of Hex Stars, which is made by Mattman PS2. Let me know if you ever any day. Let me know if you ever have updates on Undead Eatery or Ozone. Are you working on any games? I assume most people here are game developers, but I'm not positive about that. Mattman says Let's View is always a little choppy. Got it. I wonder if there's like a better software I could probably use. Let's randomize it. Okay, so not bad though, says Mattman. Okay, that's good to know. I think we got our stream settings fixed. Ozone says kinda, haha. Gotcha. Well, feel free to share anything you make with us. We also have a Discord. Let's start with that. I saw someone posted in the Discord, and I thought we could read it. Arcony, which is someone in our group, and I just realized my computer is going to die in 10 minutes. We're good for now. Arcony in Discord says, "Hey guys, I was a bit disappointed when I realized that I wasn't going to publish my idle game before some time because modeling all the monsters is taking so much time." Kessel says, "I almost have a publisher." Nice. So I know you had expositions lined up in the future, but so if you already have a publisher now, maybe I'm guessing you don't need to do that stuff in the future. That's awesome. Does it seem like a good publisher? Are you excited about them? Arcany, this is Arcany's game. I saw it on Facebook and I thought it was an interesting like blend of different mechanics. Let's take a look. Okay, this is actually different than I remember. So you're adding numbers to this So those are like your dudes or whatever. Okay, and so it's one of those games where you kind of break through these. So like usually this game is played with like squares with numbers. I'm pretty sure that's what I've seen. But they're like making it like some kind of RPG maybe kind of thing or something. Let's get out of here. Kessel's shared the gaming agency. cdoc.net. So this is for Undead Eatery on Steam. Advertise with us. Kingdom Under Fire 2, My Free Zoo, Wolf Team, Orcs Must Die Unchained. Has hundreds of top converting displayed mobile gaming official affiliates. Sweet. Seems like they're a pretty big company. That's exciting. I don't really know much about these spaces or anything like that, but that seems really exciting that like you've almost got your publisher. That's super cool. Let us know how that goes or whatever, and if when you close the deal and stuff, that's super exciting. Because I know you had some other publishers that were like, oh, we want to kind of wait and see, but like the fact that there's someone now who's like, oh, we want to get ahead of them, that's awesome. So Arconi also said, tonight I want to make something new while the development of my game. Kessel says, we are still talking. Gotcha. Let us know how that goes. Something new while development of my other game. So since my last message, I developed a well-known game clone. Maybe you know it. It's called Snake vs. Block. I'm going to enhance it with different characters and abilities to buy with your own score. Here's the first preview of the game. Let's look at that Snake vs. Block. Before we do that, I need to open up the Let's View again. Yeah, this Let's View is kind of shaky. Let me get my computer charger before I forget. Sweet. Cool, we got it. So what was it? Snake vs. Block. So I'm guessing they made a clone based off that game, not that Snake vs. Block is their actual game. Because I think that was one that was huge, right? Yeah. So they're making a clone of this game here. I think this is what this is. Here's the preview. I'm going to enhance it with different characters and abilities by with your own score. Here's the preview of the game. There's still a lot to do compared to my other game. I think I'll be able to publish it way faster. Do not hesitate to say something. Talk about yourself too. So what do you guys? I'm curious what y'all think about this, or if you have any feedback or whatever. So they're making a game that's kind of like Snake vs. Block, where you have like a certain number of balls or whatever on your side, but they're doing it with like monsters or army dudes or whatever that is. I could see like if you like make the graphics really cute and stuff. Right now, like with the level design, like let's look at Snake vs. Blocks. Oh my god. So if you look at the gameplay of Snake vs. Blocks, like here's my kind of first impression. Like it seems like this game, so one thing that's standing out to me is, I talked about this in the video, is chance versus skill. So the chance versus skill in this kind of Snake Block game that we see right here, it's very high. Like there's lots of choices you make based on these numbers, and like they're kind of scattered randomly, and the numbers are randomly, and there's like it's like an interesting decision space. So there's lots of skill and lots of chance just due to the unpredictable nature of it all. And so that would make me want to play over and over again to see if I can improve my ability and my score or whatever. So one thing I see lacking here, and it could just be like this is like the demo for the level design, but I think the core appeal of these kinds of games is that like chance versus skill kind of thing, and it seems like the appeal right here is the graphics, and I agree that could be a leg up over the competition. But I feel like to make a game that people want to play over and over again that has that addictive quality, I don't know. I think there's other ways to do it, or maybe they just need to keep exploring game elements. But I like the idea of using like creatures and stuff, and making that like the replacement for this abstract art style. I think the art style is really cool, and that could like really attract certain people over this kind of game. But yeah, I think they just need to keep working on the core gameplay. So I'm just gonna kind of respond to that here. Like, thanks for sharing. Talked about this live on stream. I love the idea for the art style. LUAEO, hello, what's up? Are you new to our... Oh, you followed a couple hours ago. What's going on? Are you someone who's from our like mobile indie game dev group maybe? Right now I'm kind of just looking at the things people posted in that group and on our Discord in the last day or so, and then we're going to get into some game dev. I found your channel on Facebook. Love the YouTube episode about Fall Guys. Awesome, thank you. So actually the creator of that Hexstars game that I was talking about is in our chat named MattmanPS2. So a lot of like those kind of videos, we kind of get into discussions, and I learned new games in this stream. So I'm so glad that you joined us. Feel free to share any of your games, whatever, or progress in your game's development or anything like that. It's kind of, I love to like learn about from other people. MattmanPS2 says sup. Yeah, so it's called Hexstars on the App Store. We've been playing that like every day on here a little bit too. But yeah, thanks for just coming to the stream. That's awesome that you joined. I was hoping to kind of get maybe some people from our group to join here if they're interested in having this kind of interactions between other indie devs live and stuff like that. So we were just playing this video someone shared in our Discord. So they took inspiration from the game Snake vs. Block, and they're implementing it with a different art style, and they kind of showed their prototype, and so I'm kind of just responding to it. And so my thoughts are that I love the art style. I think that could give it an edge over... I'm just going to do it. I love the art style. I think that could give this a real edge over the more minimalist versions. I'm also going to say... Lueo says, I'm kind of interested in mobile optimization and making the games run on most devices. Do you think that's a worthy thing to focus on? I'm curious what others think, but I would say yeah, totally. And like, because like to me, I'm having difficulty getting my game onto... I was having difficulty exporting my game for iOS, Android, and now I'm starting to see that as a huge blocker, obviously. But I know a lot of indie devs that can only like export on Android or make games run well on Android, or only able to do on iOS, and I think that is a huge barrier. Mattman says 3D or 2D game, which engine? So yeah, I guess it kind of depends on what kind of games you're making. That's a good point. So Luea's using Unity 3D. I'm curious what MattmanPS2 if they have any opinions about that. I'm gonna keep responding to this person's Discord. I think the gameplay needs to embrace the chaos skill of Snake vs. Block more in the level design. Kinda. You could do it differently than them. Matman says, reduce your triangles in 3D models and use anchor points in Unity 3D to scale for most devices. Loyo says, what do you think about hyper-casual games' lifespan? Most of them survive for 2 weeks max, so they're only done for profit. Matman PS2 says, tons of slow Android devices you have to account for. Makes sense. So Loyo's also asking what do you think about hyper-casual games' lifespan? Most of them survive 2 weeks max. I would say that you can design hyper-casual games if you have like that experience or that vision or both of them. I think that you can make hyper-casual games that last longer. I think that because to me it's all about the long-term value. So like I see those games, maybe being less retentive, but I think that's a sign that they need to be designed a little better. So I think that like Madman PS2 has made tons of these hyper casual kind of games, if I'm correct. And I think like if you look at the evolution, like the Madman PS2 is getting better and better at like retaining those users and making it more profitable and kind of finding deeper kind of appeals. Like this Fall Guy kind of gameplay is kind of trending now. So I think that there's ways that you can make games like that just from my like inexperienced position. Like I think there's ways that you can make it work and make hyper casual games that rise above the others, especially if you know what you're doing with search engine optimization and ASO and all that stuff. But yeah, that's kind of just my take on that. I think a lot of people who make hyper casual games, like they're kind of just getting their feet wet in game design and stuff too, and like maybe like I think if you keep doing it, like you're gonna get really good at like knowing what the perfect gameplay system, which I think Hexstars is a great example of. But I think that's a really interesting topic to discuss. Like, I would love to like make a video about that in the future. Like, I'm curious if you have any ideas or thoughts about any of that, or in either way. That's a really good question. Thanks for asking that. Yeah, and like so, yeah, certain companies like Voodoo, like you mentioned, they kind of make like it'd be interesting to work for them. Actually, they make like a kind of like a business model out of it, like you're saying. Survive longer than 2 weeks per player or on top chart, says Matman PS2. Yeah, I think this is a really interesting debate. I'm curious what you guys think of this stuff. Like random enemies that move around. Then it would be easier to see the game's appeal, if that makes sense. Lueo says, in store for the player, most publisher aim for like 7 days of playing per player, I think. I'm just talking about how the publisher works in the market. Matman says, if you have 15% of players retain on day 7, you have a high tier hyper casual game. Interesting. So a day 7 retention rate of 15% is considered really good for a hyper casual game. That's interesting. Ozone says, I mean, it's a week or two of good retention, but the game can last months if they keep getting new players via user acquisition. That makes sense. And I think certain hyper casual games, just in their design, like they could become popular for their like superficial gameplay, but they don't have like many features to keep them going. So I think a lot of games make that mistake. Yeah, hyper casual games starting to have this bad reputation of bad games with a lot of ads, just so publisher can make profit and move on. Madman agrees with Ozone regarding the user acquisition. Yeah, so they might die in terms of just viral organic growth, but like if they're profitable, if they're designed well to like get players to spend money or watch ads or whatever it is, or just have a high enough retention, like Mammon says, 15% is a high enough retention, then yeah, you can just buy ads for them and you can just keep making money off of them. I think that makes sense. I'm like really interested in the discussion of like how do you design these hyper casual games like to achieve that retention. What are the qualities that are seen in all these games, or what are their different strategies towards getting that high retention as a hyper casual game? Like I think the design space is something that is really interesting to think about. I think the gameplay could really benefit. Then it'd be easier to see the game. That makes sense. Okay, so that was interesting. Ozone says Voodoo has a whole video series on the design of their games. Curious to look. I just kind of want to see like part of one or something. I'm guessing it's on YouTube.
Hey Boxers, in these next
Mammon says, what are you making, Ozone? You seem to have done your research. That's a good point. If you've seen those Voodoo videos, you must be thinking about that hyper casual space, right? I'm curious if anyone has any ideas that they're exploring for hyper casual games or whatever. I'm like, it's a space I've never really thought much about, but I'm like fascinated by it right now. I'm like really interested in those creators. Voodoo game design. Ozone says, I made a few hyper casual games a year or so ago. I tried to get Voodoo to publish them, so I got in their dev portal.
Hey Boxers, in these next few videos on the path, and if you do not make it into the hoop, then your character is defeated. So let's go ahead, let's start off by just double clicking on our default template here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, great. So I'm gonna go over here.
Hey Dylan, says Mattman PS2, try hosting, rating some other similar streamer at end of your stream to build good face with them, and maybe they'll host you some time in return. That is a great idea, Batman. Thank you for that suggestion. That totally makes sense. Yeah, because that person did that to me that one time, and I hadn't really even been thinking about that. I should totally do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to do that today. Good suggestion.
World, you have a start node and a 3D world node here.
These aren't the videos you're talking about.
That's what you're going to start off with. Let's go into our 3D world and let's start making our game. So, for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first start by making this cube, change this within my 3D world, and I'm going to change this to -17 for right now. That's just slow enough where I can show you things, but it's not too...
This is an interesting video to watch.
Wow, great deal on a Minitron. Yeah, baby.
Check it
It's
out.
footlong season.
So a few years
Cool, I'll
ago,
look
I
at that
made a
one
really
next.
dumb mobile game called Frantic Architect, which ended up getting featured on the front page of the App Store and getting over 400,000 downloads. I've been thinking about making a video about this for a while, but I didn't do it because I'm not sure what the moral of the story is. It's one of those events that you can spin it in different ways. Either I could talk about how I'm this really smart guy who got a bunch of people to download my game even though it sucked, or I could talk about how I wasted a lot of time building something that's basically useless. I did write an article about this back in 2017, but I feel like I didn't explain the full story very well. And then the Reddit commenters seem to get the impression that I'm just this sellout who made the two sections. First, I'll explain what happened. I'll tell you and my analytics for the installs and the revenue. In the second section, I'll explain the bigger picture of why. If you remember back in early 2014, everybody was playing Flappy Bird by indie developer Dong Nguyen, who is apparently making $50,000 a day at some point from the in-game ads. Shortly afterwards, a lot of other really simple casual mobile games started taking over the App Store and Google Play, and people started calling these games hyper-casual. The defining features of these games is that they're extremely short, repetitive, and easy for anyone to understand. Basically, the sole intention of these games is to show ads to brain-dead people like me. It basically works like this. Bro, you suck at this game. Let me help you out. I'll give you 10 more lives if you download this app first. When hyper-casual games started taking off, I had already been building games for a couple years, so I thought, oh, this must be a great way to cash in on my skills. I was totally wrong. It's actually very hard to monetize because there's so much competition since these games are so easy to make. And the user retention is very bad since nobody really likes these games that much, so you don't make very much money per user. But back then, I wasn't thinking carefully about how to solve these problems. I was just too tunnel visioning on researching the popular apps and trying to reverse engineer their success instead of building something that I actually besides Facebook and Google. The publishers help promote your game in three main ways: social media ads, cross-promotion from other games in their network, and helping your game get featured on Apple and Google. These publishers would really sell developers like me on the fact that they had these inside contacts at Apple and Google, so you would have a much better chance of getting featured if you worked with them. I don't know how much of this is actually true, but these days you can actually just submit a form to Apple and request to get your game featured, so you should definitely try that out first. But back then, I was just really gullible and I liked the idea of working with a bigger company. It just made me to each other, and I know this is really weird and surprise, surprise, it didn't get accepted by any of the publishers. But then the features of these games is that they're
So this is interesting. So like I see this argument of like these games. Yeah, so Madman PS2 says dude brings up great points. But to me, I feel like this perspective needs like the look on the brighter side perspective. If that makes sense. Like I think that the way a lot of these games are made. They're yeah. He says that players don't like them that much because the way like they're made or whatever. But like, I think you can make them like we're learning more and more about how to design these games going forward and making them more appealing to players and more fun and like look at a game in my video look at Hexstars versus your typical Fall Guys clone. Like the hyper casual games there's quality ones and non-quality ones, and I think we're still learning more and more how to make the quality ones, especially since the genre is so brand new, right? So I don't agree. I don't know if he's gonna say this, but like if the moral of the story is hyper casual games are bad and purely manipulative, like I feel like that's not a nuanced enough perspective. But I just kind of want to keep listening. Oops.
Other really. And once it falls down, the game restarts. It's kind of like a metaphor for life, you know. It's not about how many times you fall, but how many times you rise and get back up and watch my ads so I can get money? 2 publishers offered me contracts for this, and the one I accepted was from a company called Bulky Pix. They're in France, and they've actually released some good games before they decided to pivot and work with shovelware developers like me. The terms of the contract were terrible. They basically offered me nothing in exchange for 50% of the revenue. They did say that they would promote my game for 1 week after launch, but to be honest, I'm not really sure that they did that. I got the contract in October 2015, and by now, I was starting my...
So he seems to be pretty hard on the publishers of these games as well, which I could see that more. Like, I'm curious what Mattman you think of this perspective. Like, do you think that devs, I don't know if he's even saying this, but do you think devs could get around working with publishers, or do you think that they're essential, especially when you're starting out? Because I think at the beginning he was saying like you don't really need them for like getting onto the App Store and getting featured because they have their own forums for that. It's just his experiences, Lueo. Hyper-casual market moves so quick. This video is already outdated a bit, says Mattman PS2. Lueo says, yeah. I think about like working with the publisher. Essential when you have no capital. Yeah, okay, so you need, in order to make money in the game, you need the ads and stuff like that, so makes sense. Just curious what you thought about that.
My last year of university, so I was really busy with job interviews and studying. I lost motivation to work on Frantic Architect pretty quickly. I didn't think the game was very good to begin with. It wasn't the kind of thing that I would play myself. And then Bulky Pix asked me to implement a lot of really boring stuff, like translating the text, or designing some marketing graphics, or adding achievements and leaderboards and things like that. The more I worked on it, the more I realized that this isn't a good use of my time. And my main motivation for finishing it now was just...
So in that point, it seems like this is someone who like just doesn't want to, just wants to do this for fun. You know, like he's complaining about having to change the game for multiple languages in order to have the game all around the world. You know, like part of this person's problem is that like this is just something he's doing for fun, not like as a career. You know,
just to put something on my resume. And this is not very motivating. So I procrastinated super hard. It took me 6 months to finish a game that I basically prototyped in 1 day.
Madman says each publisher is so different. Sounds like he had a bad experience with his publisher. Makes sense.
The game was finally released in March.
And I think like his ideas do have credence. You know, it's he has an interesting perspective, sure.
2016, and that day, my product manager over at Bulky Pix Skyped me and said, "Hey, you know, your app is featured worldwide on the front page of the App Store." And this was super surprising to me because at this point, all I knew was that they had pitched the game to Apple. They didn't tell me how the meeting went. And since I personally didn't think the game was very good, I was very surprised that this happened. Over the next 2 weeks, it got 365,000 downloads and it plateaued around 400,000 downloads. I wasn't expecting to get this many users at launch, but I also wasn't expecting the downloads to drop off this quickly. I thought that if I had just built up enough awareness of the game, I would get more organic installs. But what ended up happening is that it basically became irrelevant right after it dropped off of the top charts. You can see that my ad revenue per day matches up pretty closely with my downloads per day, and I wasn't surprised by this because I knew the user retention would be low, but I was hoping that I would make more than a few $1,000s considering that I had 400,000 people playing my game. After the game died, I didn't put too much thought into it because I was busy with exams and job interviews.
So he considers, the fact that he considers his game to be bad, and it seems like he's got no retention, so to me, like, this probably wasn't that great of a hyper-casual game, not that hyper-casual games in general are bad.
But then a few weeks later, I was really concerned because Bulky Pix wasn't sending me my ad payments, and they were also ignoring all my emails. Then one other developer who was also working with them reached out to me and he said that he wasn't getting paid either. 2 months later, I found out that Bulky Pix went bankrupt and I didn't get paid a single penny. But this wasn't actually an important part of the story because by this point I had already decided that I wasn't going to be making any more hyper-casual games. Before I explain this further, I want to show you the bigger picture for why this genre of game.
Okay, so it looks like he's getting to his conclusion, so I'm really curious what his main takeaways are from all this.
Like The Sims.
There are two key advantages that hyper-casual game developers try to exploit. First of all, because these games are so simple to make, they can build them very quickly. Voodoo launches a new game every couple of days, and by doing this, they can test their ideas and gather data much faster than other kinds of game developers. I think that a lot of startups in general can learn from Voodoo's ruthless focus on launching new products. Second, the audience for these games are very broad because they're so simple and easy to understand. But this is a double-edged sword. The flip side is that nobody really likes these games that much, so the user attention is very low.
Ozone says he should have also put in an in-app purchase to remove ads. You think people won't do it, but there are always payers. About 5% of 410K would have paid probably. That is interesting. Yeah, because I see your point that you think people won't do it, because I have that like gut feeling, but I also on the even in the so we've been on TikTok looking at game development videos. 5% off. 5% is way off in my opinion, says Matt MNPS2. So I was in these. We were looking at these TikTok videos for Hex Stars, which Matt MNPS2 made, and people were like creating TikToks of the game, and I even saw in the comments of those people saying, "Can you make it so I can pay money to remove ads?" So like, I was like, "Wow, people are like really actually into that." The fact that it's in some random video comment like that, someone's really asking for it that badly, you know. What's a more accurate percent? Is Ozone is asking. I'm curious about that.
In addition to low user attention, very few players will buy anything in these games, so they're relying on ads to make money. But according to an article on VentureBeat, 60% of the ads on hyper-casual games are actually just promoting other hyper-casual games. So if you think about it, for this 60% of the ads, the industry is actually not generating any money. It's just the companies within it exchanging money with each other. The reason the industry can sustain itself is because the other 40% of the ads is sold to brands and other mobile game genres. The main argument for the growth of the hyper-casual genre is that it's introducing non-gamers to games. So the advertising space is very valuable to these other mobile game genres. For example, let's say that the first game I ever play in my life is Flappy Bird, and then inside Flappy Bird, I see an ad for a more hardcore game, like Angry Birds, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I'll check it out. The main problem with all of this, in my opinion, is that eventually people are going to realize that playing these games is an extremely unfulfilling experience. It's already much harder to get people to download your app now compared to a few years ago, and the standards for app quality is just getting higher and higher. Eventually, I think some game developer will figure out how to make a very good game that actually appeals to a broad audience of non-gamers. And I don't know what this game is going to look like, but I think that when it comes out, it's going to change the entire industry. I think that 10 years from now, people are going to be looking at the hyper-casual games from these last few years, and they're going to think, wow, why would anybody want to play that? It's kind of like how we see those old bad TV shows from the 90s with a lot of commercials in them. If there's one thing that you should take away from
Yeah, so I think this is really interesting. So I was kind of like, so that's funny, Mattman PS2 says this guy's a Debbie Downer, lol. But I was thinking he was a Debbie Downer up until this point, and at this point I'm like, now I'm thinking, oh, maybe you're onto something. But I'm not sure, obviously. But his thinking that like, eventually there's gonna be a game or some kind of framework of a game that replaces the demand for hyper casual games. Like, I could see that being a possibility. I think that's a really interesting idea to contemplate at the very least. Like could there ever good points, but still a Debbie Downer, says Matt in PS2. That's pretty funny. I'm curious if anyone has any opinions about that idea. That like, so there's players that are looking for like these kind of casual, super easy to play, but like little addicting kind of experiences. And so I think that there's developers are getting better at building up some retentive features of those games, but we're gonna keep getting better at that. So if we can just fix retention and like imagine if someone made a game where like it's like I don't know, like think of what like Fortnite has done for like other kinds of like third person shooter games aimed at a younger audience. You know, like Fortnite has kind of just created this space. I don't know, maybe I'm kind of off in saying this. Man PS2 says, sounds like he's basing the whole industry on his one experience on one hyper-casual game. That's, I think, a good critique. He should have shopped around for a publisher now and made more than one game to get a better opinion. I agree, says Lueo. Yeah, I think that makes sense too. He is kind of extrapolating his one experience onto the whole industry. And it seemed like he was suggesting even like, yeah, because this game didn't do well, like he's kind of said like, look at my game, I got a bunch of installs, I didn't make any money in the long run from it. Therefore, hyper casual game design is like, I feel like he was suggesting it was like flawed inherently or something. And like, yeah, I think that's a really like it's a narrow-minded probably perspective, but it makes for like a strong narrative, which is probably why he kind of went that route. Yeah, and maybe it's easy to do personally, say, oh, it's not my fault that the game didn't do well, like it was the publisher's fault and it's the genre's fault. I don't even like these games, like I don't even like the game that I made that didn't do well or whatever, you know. So like I like making these kinds of casual games. I don't make hyper casual games like of this variety, but I like making casual games for all general audience because I like the design problem of making something that appeals to as many people as possible, but trying to also create a strong retention along with that, you know. So I love like the idea space. Mammon says, I haven't even worked with enough publishers to form a great opinion on the market, Mammon PS2 says, and Mammon PS2 has made a ton of games on the App Store, so it makes sense that this guy might not know exactly what he's talking about. I'm curious what he's doing now. Does he still make YouTube videos? Studying machine learning. So this person's doing like AI kind of coding stuff, I guess. This person's going all in on AI now. Yeah, keep sharing your ideas if you have any. I wanted to look at that other video that Ozone shared. Good points to consider though before you get into the market. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. So, Lit AF Games. I like it. So, Ozone, was it Ozone that shared this? Yeah, Ozone shared Lit AF Games, which is such a badass game design studio company name. Is that what this is? Ninja Climb is a free action game for iOS and Android. You play as a ninja who has fallen from ninja heaven. Cool. Avoid the spikes. Haha, thanks, man. Avoid the spikes as you climb above Earth. 250 levels, 40 characters. Let me check it out. Ninja Climb. I'm guessing my phone's no longer connected. Sweet. Oh wait, this is new. I installed the wrong one. Ninja Climb. It's it's by someone named Anton, right? Maybe this is the wrong one. Oh yeah. Ooh, I like the way this one looks. Ninja Climb Wall Jumper. No, it should be Lit AF Games. Gotcha. Cool. This one looks a lot cooler than the other one I was looking at. This one looks sick. Let me just get my phone on the screen. It is installing. Yeah, thanks everyone for showing up to the stream. Feel free to share anything that you've made or any progress or questions that you have. We're about to play Ninja Climb Wall Jumper by Lidaf. I like that name too because like maybe it's a little inappropriate or something, but it shows that you're like kind of committed to doing what's creative and cool. So I like that as a studio name a lot. Want to make sure. So tap to start. The ninja will jump along the path of the line, avoid spikes. So I thought that was like a good forced introduction tutorial there. Lueo says, well, I have this local game dev company that posts on the iOS. I don't have an iOS device. It'd be cool to see you try some of their games if you don't mind. I'd love to try it. I'd love to play it after this one. That'd be dope. So tap to start. Okay, so it moves. Ozone says, I tell people lit stands... I tell people it can stand for lit and fun games. BG. That's a good one. Alright, I wasn't looking. Awesome, yeah, cool. I'll play that in a sec. So I like that there's these coins. It gives me a target. Oops. Oh! Blimey. Yeah, I like that there's these coins to shoot for because you don't technically need them. Like, you could do it without the coins, but like, I'm sure they serve a purpose, but also like it gives me something to shoot for. So it's really important, I think, for especially for the first level, something like this. Oops. So sometimes you like they're in harder to reach positions. So I like also like to collect the coins. You're trying to put yourself in a position where it's easier to hit them without hitting the spikes. So I like that the way you're lighting the spikes out in the coins is creating this like some more interesting choices that you can that constantly engages them. Even though it's easy to like first level just go between the spikes, like someone who's a little more advanced as a gamer could be also thinking, oh, let me put myself in these exact positions, get these coins, and that works their skill more. So I really like this. Lueo says it's like Super Meat Boy kinda. Super Meat Boy maybe like translated for like a mobile gaming experience, which means like mechanically it's much more narrow, but then you can explore a lot deeper in that one kind of mechanical space. Elzen says you are right on point with the coin design. Haha, nice, sweet. Yeah, I could totally feel that. That totally makes sense. Tap start. Oops. Interesting. So I like that I get... Oh! I just realized that he's slipping. I was wondering if you could hit the bird. So I love the fact that the ninja... Madman says, looks well made. How long did it take? I really like that the ninja could have just stuck there on the wall and not moved, and you just get free time. That lowers the intensity, lowers the skill required to play if it were designed like that. And then also so the way you have it, so it slides down, it increases the level of skill kind of required because you have a time pressure now, and it also gives you like this ability to like purposely slide your ninja down so that you get a better angle that you need. So I could see that being like a design space to explore. I really like that it slides down. That's pretty sweet. That one little, I like finding those little tiny design kind of decisions and seeing how they affect kind of the gameplay. And I think when someone makes a really smart decision on those little design decisions, it shows they really understand the game, what they're talking about. Good question, kind of similar to the guy in the video. Like a few weeks at the core mechanic with several months of pain and of polish. I read it as pain for some reason, but several months of polish and shopping for publishers. And the art took a couple months to get from a contractor, maybe 5 months total. Nice. Yeah, I really am a fan of this. Ooh. So there's like, oh, now I'm on fire. I like that. I don't know why exactly I'm on fire, but I felt like I did some really good stuff in terms of getting the coins and stuff like that. So maybe it was the rate at which I was jumping. I don't know yet from playing the game, but like it feels good, and I'm curious to know how to do that. Unlock more characters. So it forces you to tap it. Tap the button to unlock. Tap the new character. Sweet. So you got new characters. Looks like you got a lot of characters. That's rad. I can see that being really awesome. This one looks a lot different than the ninja. I think the dog. Lots of people like dogs. It makes sense you'd go with that for your like first unlockable one. Yeah. I think it's the coins, like a streak. If you miss one, then stopping on fire. Sweet. So it has like a kind of some mechanical advantage to you too to get the coins. I really like that. Everything really, these little systems, these little elements of the game really feed well into one another. This is a really well designed game. Yeah, I'm curious to see how it progresses as well. Tap to start. So I can't get those. Let me get in a place where I can get them. Sweet. I like that the spikes below you disappear. Oh, I missed one. Oh, I knew I made a mistake when I did that. Sweet. I see the top of the line. So I have to replay because I got so close. Oh, man. Restart. Oh, sweet. That was a long jump. Oh, frick. Still practicing. I'll play a couple more times. I definitely want to keep playing this. I would love to make a video about this for my YouTube channel. This seems like a really well designed game. Ah! Oh, I thought I got spiked. I'm curious if the flames has any mechanical advantage or if it gives me a bonus for the coins or something if I'm on fire. Next level. Ah, frick. I think the difficulties, it's good that it's not getting like super difficult super fast, because obviously like it's good to give people time to get used to the strategy of the coins and the mechanic. Oh, sweet. Level complete. Next level. Ah. Glad you like it. It's interesting watching another designer play it. Nice. Yeah, that's why I like this indie game dev group and everything we're doing on the stream, because like that conversation between designers, I think you learn so much from. Like I learned so much from that in the industry, and I think that as indies, like especially so many people being mobile solo indies, like we need that like opportunity to like kind of play each other's games and like just give each other that designer feedback, you know. Are these levels auto-generated? The way I was asking. Mattman says Dylan has good eye for a lot of this stuff. Thank you very much, Mattman. I'm honored that you say that. For the level design, it feels like it's handmade. And I see now there's like 2 spikes in places, so it's slowly evolving, which I like. If it changed too fast, like normally I would suggest like, oh, front load your game with lots of new like features and stuff, but I like the way this is progressing a lot. Like the skill is enough to get me through the first like 10 minutes alone, and so it's like I like that it's evolving slower, and I'm like so excited to see like what kind of extra elements are going to be on the side or how difficult it's going to be with these spikes and stuff. So I see those double spikes there. So there's like more room for danger in some areas. Yeah, I like how getting all the coins makes it if a player is bored by the beginning, like they won't be bored because they can go after these coins in their expert way. Yeah, and screenshots show some cool levels too. Sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm really excited. I want to play this on the stream in the future as well. So I'm going to play this one last time and we'll keep playing next time we stream. Oh, baby. I liked how the gems kind of move down and go away. It reminds me of like special like space, the special kind of levels on whatever kind of games. A lot of levels are handmade for difficulty tuning, but it's made up of reusable pieces, so some levels are procedurally generated. Madman says, you said you moved on from mobile. What are you doing now? Lueo says, nice. Unlock more aimers with better stats. Oh, interesting. So you can I like this. So I'm always thinking about long-term value, you know. After level 250, it's all procedural generated. Cool. So that's good to know, Ozone. That's interesting. That makes sense. So you can use these gems to improve your aim line, the speed that it turns, as well as the aim length and maybe other variables. So I really like that for these mobile games. Like, we need a great core gameplay system, but around that we need stuff that reinforces the gameplay system and gives players extra value and advantages in order for doing really well and investing into the game. The coins gems are all random, so that adds variety. Okay, I was wondering if they were handcrafted and I just had to be more like intricate with how I made it in the past, but it's interesting to know that they're random. I don't think I would have known that. I was wondering that though. I actually work at a mobile game company now. Cool. I'm curious where you work, if you can share, or what project you're working on. Madman says, what country are you from? And learning Unreal on the side, maybe doing a twin stick shooter or something. Cool. I would be interested in that. So this one has way longer length. That is a great variable to be improving. I like that a lot. So this one's like a daily spin. Jam City in the Bay Area. Oh my God! I used to work there. I was working at Jam City in San Francisco like a couple of years ago. My name is Dylan. I left there like I left there about exactly 2 years ago. I used to work on Snoopy Pop and a little on Panda Pop. Haha, what? No, that's crazy that you're in my stream right now. You're not like at work. Oh yeah, you guys are working remotely right now. Small game dev world. Yeah, I know, right? That's crazy. Yeah, that's why I was asked. I asked, but I was like, "There's no way you work like where I used to work." That's insane. Nice. It's your ex-boss. It could be. I'm literally working on Vineyard Valley right now. I probably know some of the people who work on your team and stuff. That's so weird. Yeah, so I used to work for the bubble shooters, and I was hired as a junior level designer. Ozone started a year ago. Cool. I could see why they hired you, because this game is amazing. You really understand like mobile game design, judging by this game. Yeah, so I started in like 2016 as a junior level designer for Snoopy Pop, and so I was making levels, and I just was a sponge, and I learned so much. And by the end of me being there, I was working on like these like AI tools that I probably can't talk about, but I was doing this insane stuff at the end, and I had all these problems and stuff like that, and so I don't know, and I just really wanted to like pursue game design on my own. Yeah, they hired me based on my games. I'm a software engineer. Cool. Vineyard Valley Match 3. Yes, it is. It's one of those like it's like what's it called? Gardenscapes, Homescapes, similar to that, I believe, where it's a Match 3 with like you get to customize like your house or your kitchen or something like that. I think it received like some awards or something. Yeah, super cool you're working there though. I think it's awesome. I had an awesome learning experience there, so I think it's great that I think it's a great experience to work at places like that. Yeah, it's a collapse technically, says Ozone. Yeah. So that's where you tap on the tiles like Toon Blast. Sweet. Wow, that's so freaking weird. My turn to work at Jam City. Yeah, send in your application. Let's. Maybe I should go back to work there too. We can all work there together. Just kidding though. That is so funny. Yeah, so I used to work on the bubble shooters more, and so we were on a. I used to work at the 2nd Street office or wherever it was, and so I used to work with the bubble shooters. I was on the bubble shooter floor. It was like the older studio before they merged them, and I used to work with the Panda Pop people a lot. So like, Madeline says I wouldn't live in Cali, but all these companies are used to remote working now. You're right. More and more they're turning to remote work. When I was there, that's where this like I saw a bigger shift towards hiring people as contractors and people like that. So I could see a lot of remote jobs. Like there was someone on the Panda Pop team that lived in Texas, and so they would make levels and receive the San Francisco paycheck, but they'd be living in Texas and they wouldn't have to pay like a ton of taxes and stuff like that. So it's pretty. I think you can get a good setup if you get a remote job. But yeah, I was working more with the bubble shooter people. Like I think John F was like the head of Panda Pop at the time, and like Ben, Shirley, and Jordan Stewart, and I'm guessing you might know these people. Like I know, like where we used to work, it was like a smaller office, not in the Tinyco office. But then when we merged, it's like so much bigger now. So I don't know if everyone knows everybody or not. The only guy I knew from Panda Pop was Kevin, who was the director for a while. Interesting. Kevin P, I'm assuming. Kevin, I forget his last name, but it begins with a P. I think I've seen them, but haven't worked with them. Gotcha. Is Haifa, is that her name? Is she like a lead on Vineyard Valley? Kevin Yu. Okay, I don't know that person. Yeah. I think a lot of people were either laid off or left around the time that I left too. So, yeah, she was the narrative lead but left like a month ago. Okay, interesting. Like Josh Kluber or something like that. I think they worked for Match 3s. Wasim or Vivian or. I don't know. I'm just throwing names out right now. That's pretty funny. That was just so crazy that like you worked there. Thank you so much for sending in this game, Ninja Climb. Yeah, such a small world. Oh, Kleber. Yeah, Joshua Kleber. Yeah, so I'm like definitely familiar with some of these people. That's so funny. Oh man. Yeah, and I worked with Wasim. Yeah, Wasim kind of helped train me when I first got there. You should say "What's up" or something from me. Which seems pretty cool. Yeah, he was working on Family Guy when I left. Haha, I will. Oh man, that is so funny. Oh, crazy small world. Yeah, I know, right? When I saw that, I was like, this can't be real. Yeah, I'm glad you're working there though. Like, I learned so much from that industry experience. Like, you can definitely learn on your own, but like, I think there's so much I just didn't know, and so that kind of was like a good like education for me. I just wish it was your ex-boss still. That would be really. But then if it was my ex-boss, then they would totally know it was me, But yeah, that would be pretty funny. Yeah, I worked there for 2 years, and I had like 3 or 4 different bosses. They were just like rotating them. Yeah, I learned different stuff. Both indie and in a company is good. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, you got like the best of both worlds. Like you have kind of both sides you're learning from. I think that's awesome. So you said you're a software engineer. Makes sense. Yeah, my one disagreement with the way these games are designed in the whole industry, not just Jam City, is that to design these mobile games, the game designers are more they don't come up with these ideas. Like we get these ideas that are like basically like do every like kind of translate the game of like whatever popular game is popular, like copy Candy Crush or copy Gardenscapes in our own way or whatever. And so where game designers aren't really ever in the position where they're making these games and testing their theories on their own. You know, they're more in charge of these smaller features within the game. And so we're basically on day one, we're told this is the monetization model, this is the gameplay, and we have to do everything kind of like this other game. And then within that, you can kind of, the design is very business driven. So that is the biggest problem with certain types of games. That works well. With some of these match 3s, I think it often works really well for them. Okay, cool. I'll try that right now. Thanks for reposting that. I was going to look for that, Lueo. But like, for example, I've made videos about the way bubble shooters are designed. Bubble shooters are designed to copy match 3s like Candy Crush as much as they can. But the problem with that is bubble shooters are way more skill-based than match 3s. So when we have a Sega map model, which we stole from match 3s, so all bubble shooters are made with a Sega map model, not just at Jam City, but everywhere. But because of that, players will get stuck if it's skill-based. So we have to make it really watered down in order for the bubble shooter to just maintain its user base. So we strip the skill out of there. So my whole problem is the bubble shooters as a whole, they're not making very much money compared to match 3s because they're being designed as if they're match 3s, but they're really not. And so my game is called Emoji Pop, which you can play at playmojipop.com. And I'm trying a totally different structure for these bubble shooter games. And so that's kind of partially why I left, is that like there's no agency for game designers to make great mobile games, you know. So instead of trying to disrupt that, which is what I was trying to do with like my AI tools and stuff, I was like, let me go out on my own and let me just try to make these games the way I think they should be made. And maybe I'll fail, maybe I'll succeed, but I'm definitely learning a ton, and I'm able to like really explore my space, which is what I wasn't able to do at Jam City. But you said you're a software engineer there, so like I think that's the best position to be in, because you can learn all of that great. That's what they're great at, is like the way they're making their games and their underlying technology stack and everything. The way but like the design stuff is totally, I think, lacking personally. But obviously, so many skilled people there, and so my whole thing is like I want to be able to make these games and just try to put other people in the position where they get to control their own game designs as well. Yeah, learning good code architecture is great. Yeah, so Ozone, I'm like a horrible programmer, honestly, in comparison to other game devs, probably like yourself. So I'm envious of that skill. I think that is amazing that you have that skill and that experience now, like working with like making good code architecture, like you're saying. And that's why I do game design on the side. I don't have much creative control at work at all. I think that is so smart. So it stinks that you don't have much creative control at work. That might be sometimes kind of normal for that kind of job. But yeah, you're doing this awesome game design stuff on the side. So that's super awesome. I think that is a great approach, what you're doing right now. You'll have to keep me informed, like keep me up to date with your other games and stuff. I'd love to know what you're working on now, but maybe you can't show us. Okay, so could you remind Lueo reminding me what this link is? I'm just curious what these apps are. It's a local game dev company that posts on iOS. It'd be cool to try some of the games if you don't mind. Cool. So I want to look at that King of the Party. Let me download it. Yeah, so I think that's super smart though to do game design on the side. CN Studio Def working with publishers, tons of games, no ads. Gotcha. Your CN Studio, Lueo? No, it's local studio here in Morocco. Wow, I love their icons. Where game dev is a rumor. Interesting. King of Party. Getting it. So this is their one that's listed on top. They are working with Voodoo. Any published with them? Okay, tap to play. Okay, so this is very different than some of the other ones. You're going down. Okay, so right away I'm thinking the controls are kind of awkward. If I'm at the bottom of the screen, which is the best position to be in, you can't really see these boxes, so they kind of just randomly hit you. So I feel like the skill, there's definitely some good chance in the game, but the skill isn't like fair enough in a way, if that makes sense. And it seems like often for too long I'm not really doing anything. Yeah, so this isn't my favorite. I've played some of these kind of games and compared them to Hex Stars, and I show why Hex Stars is so much more engaging. Are those real people? Good chance they're fake players, says Madman PS2. My games always are. Yeah, so it seems like most... I've read an article recently saying, like, most often these games... Oh, I like the sand effect. That's pretty cool. But yeah, most often these games don't have multiplayer. So I just feel like everyone's just pointed down at all times, and whoever happens to be a little further at the end wins. There's nothing you can do to, like... There's no skill you're constantly engaging in. You're just, like... Like in Hex Stars, I'm always like thinking, I'm trying to maximize every moment, like trying to hit every tile perfectly, strategize. But with this, I'm literally not even looking at the screen often, and I'm like winning basically. So to me, this is not that great of a gameplay system on its own, but they make a lot of games. Let's try their latest release is Touchdown Catch. But I'm curious if you guys have any other opinions about that. So it's better to, I guess they got ads on it, says Mattman. Maybe they put ads on after failed with Voodoo. Lueo says, so it's better to do fake players to avoid server troubles. Mattman says, more control is biggest benefit. New games wouldn't have enough players to fill lobbies either. Makes sense. I see, that's smart, says Lueo. Yeah, so Mattman in the chat is kind of outlining why developers use fake players in these hyper-casual multiplayer games. You pointed out that more control, and makes sense. You can kind of control the difficulty, give them a good first experience, and evolve the difficulty over that maybe. Chat is popping today. Your last video getting some traction? I don't know. I think this is just good luck. I think we're gonna start seeing more people in the stream that come from the Facebook group. I don't know if that's kind of where this came from. But that's kind of my hope, is that like this stream can kind of serve as like a meetup, a daily hangout for our Facebook group, or people not even in the Facebook group, but people like-minded about indie mobile game development. I think we need mobile game development all the time in every social media place. Like it always exists alongside the console PC game development. Even though mobile game development, I think you can make the argument, is an inherently like different thing than most video games. Like the player psychology, the way you use it, everything about it is different, Good place to hang out and work, says Mattman. Awesome. I'm glad you think so. I came from Indie Game Dev Group, says Lueo. You posted your video. Awesome. Thanks for coming, Lueo. You've been an awesome member for participating along with Ozone, so I really hope to see you guys in the future as well. Thanks for following. Yeah, so, and most of the time I do game development. Every week I try to release a new feature in my game on Monday, so often I'll be developing the game during the week, but I'm also going to have like streams where I play people's games, and while I'm developing, I'm always down to like play someone's game. Ozone says, I check in when I can. Thank you so much, Ozone. You're a valued member of this community, fellow Jam citizen. So yeah, all good. Thanks so much, Ozone. I really value all here because I've seen like some of your games and I'm like so blown away by them, so like I'm honored to have like people to participate in evaluating these games that we play and helping me out on my game, which PS2 has really helped me out develop Emoji Pop just by kind of chatting and sending me like images of stuff once in a while. So I really love that camaraderie and stuff. So I'm gonna play this. Oh man. Okay, so I can move after that. So I didn't really get the core controls right away. Let me play again. So you tap, you have to get all these balls. You're getting more balls. Oh, so you want to be certain colors. Oh, so I can go through the blue ones or something? I'm not really sure. Kick a field goal at the end. That's funny. What? This game is kind of blowing my mind. This is crazy. So their evolution on this kind of trope of a game is, so normally it's kind of like only one of those things, like you're either kicking a ball or you're running through stuff, but like combined it into one game, which I think is interesting. Let's play it again. So I'm not really sure. I don't know when I should hit those. Should I just avoid them at all times? And so based on how well you do, that affects your kick. Someone should make like a bonkers hyper casual game that just combines every hyper casual game in one, you know, just just for fun. Okay, so this is interesting. So I'm just gonna try to keep going straight. Okay. Let me try and just avoid people at all times. Let me try to get all the red ones. So one thing I like about this is that there's different elements. I like games that combine different elements because if you don't do well in the first part of the game, that's what you can make it up. Like, I don't know. There's how you do in the first part of the game and how you do with the kick, and so that increases like the tension between the chance and balance. So if you did really well the first half and not as well the second half, you're like, oh, I can improve the second half, and so I like that there's these really distinct parts of the game that have their different metrics for success. I think that makes it more replayable. I don't personally see myself getting addicted to this gameplay. Yeah, I think you gotta match what color you are with the color of the ball. That's not super obvious though. Hard to tell the pros cons of Ozone. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that makes sense. You gotta match what color you are with the color of the ball. Not super obvious though. Yeah, like it seems like the different colors could kind of afford the different things. Like I'm like, oh, there's red guys. They want to run into them, but why are they red? You know. So yeah, hard to tell what the pros cons are. I agree that's a problem. It says I'm making progress in this world. Yeah, I don't know. The progress in the world I'm getting so slowly, so it feels like I'm doing something wrong. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's play one more of their games. Okay, I've seen this kind of hyper-casual game trend recently, so I want to play a version of it. It's a game where you're kind of going in a race or something, and there's like questions along the way. Like I've seen different versions of that, so I'm curious what it's like. So yeah, Lueo, I hope like you're taking value out of these. You wanted me to kind of react to these games, so I'm kind of just giving out my impression. Like some of them, I'm like like I don't know. I could see like the quality could differ. Maybe they have some really good games. So the ones I've played, I'm not like super impressed by. Yeah, all good, says Lueo. But I did like elements of the previous game, but there were other elements that were kind of confusing to me. Tap to start. What's the name of this cartoon character? I think we're gonna go with Spider-Man. What's the name of this cartoon character? Bugs Bunny. So like, not really seeing the appeal with this kind of game. It's pretty obvious, most of these things, so far at least. Yeah, so I'm not really engaged with any kind of sense of skill or strategy constantly. I'm surprised they can include these character images. So yeah, it was kind of boring. They're all made quick, says Mammon PS2, you can tell, but they all have a chance of getting published in the hyper-casual market better than a lot out there. Interesting way to do trivia, says Ozone. That's a good point. Like, that's a cool mechanical trivia thing. I feel like they could have made it more interesting. Like, maybe if they're focusing on a certain kind of trivia, or maybe if the trivia has a more mechanical implication to the game, like instead of just coasting through, but maybe it gets harder as you go along. What if like there was like an educational game that took this kind of route, you know? I actually made a game like that for like a job interview. What largest state in America? Alaska. So this could be a good game for streaming, like kind of what was that question? Where's the White House? So like I could see this being a good streamable kind of gameplay system where like the streamers kind of getting tested about trivia while they're playing or something. Maybe it gets really competitive. Maybe it gets really deep into some kind of area of knowledge. I don't know. I can't even read the answers for a long time. Yeah, it looks like a fast prototype for voodoo testing. It showed promise with voodoo. They would polish. If it showed promise with voodoo, they would polish it and finish it out. Interesting. So they kind of put out stuff to test it out. That's interesting. Yeah, so this is definitely good for just getting myself some experience into this world of games, hyper casual games. I haven't played that many before, but I need to. Open. So let's just play this last one. Level 1. Lots of my games are just the base game like this company. Gotcha. And then you kind of expand on it if it shows promise. That's interesting. I'm not even sure how to control this. The controls here are kind of weird. It's something I really like the idea of is like thinking of new hyper casual gameplay systems, not just responding to the trends, but it makes sense that's a valid strategy and you can kind of improve on their designs. But I like playing Atari games or you can play Nintendo DS games, and occasionally you'll find like a unique gameplay system where you're like, oh, this could apply interestingly to mobile. These don't seem original enough though. Yeah, you're right. These are like kind of redundant ideas that have already been done, especially already even in mobile. The controls for this is so weird. I have to try so hard to make it move. I don't understand. Like I'm like swiping and moving all over the place. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, it was interesting to try this out. Thank you for sharing that. Let me know if there's any other games I should play Lueo or anyone else. Always let me know if there's some interesting mobile game or gameplay system you want to try out or something on your game. Like, totally down for that. Let's just switch over to my game for at least a moment. I'm gonna go. I have Play Emoji Pop. So this is like the game that's as it's currently live. Yeah, sure. Thanks for testing. No problem, Lueo. So this is the live version of my game. I'm working on new features right now. But as I said before, I am a casual mobile puzzle game developer usually. So I like making these kinds of. I used to work at Jam City. I like to make like puzzle games that have lots of levels that engage players for the long run. So I'm really fascinated by hyper casual games. I want to have that same kind of casual appeal, but I want to do it more in the form of a puzzle game. Because they have, I think, greater retention if you do them right. Because you have this really obvious chain of progress. So every world you play, there's a totally different obstacle emoji that you unlock that does crazy new stuff. So to play the game, you just drag and aim in this aim box and let go. So those are soaps. They pop together, but this is our first colored match. So mostly you're kind of matching colors, and you progress through this world. And you can swap colors, so that's kind of the strategic element. You have to decide constantly, what match do I make or what color do I shoot? And so there's a lot of strategy in that. And then the game gets a lot more interesting as you add obstacles into the mix. This is our first star. So across these worlds are stars scattered throughout. And so, nice, says Lou. Thank you. Let me know if you have any feedback or anything. Like, this is a game in development. It's live, but we're also developing it live. Do you get any benefits from being fast? No, but we do have special levels that are speed-based levels where everything is scrolling down. So I'll show you that in just a second. That's a great question. So there's no benefit right now of going fast. Right now, I'm focusing on strategy. I want players to have all the time in this overworld to take their time and make their matches, to focus on that strategy, especially at the beginning of the game. So instead of going level to level, the problem with most bubble shooters, like the kinds that I used to be involved with, is bubble shooters are a skill-based game, but they use the saga map approach. So you go level 1, level 2, level 3, and if you get stuck on level 3, your progress is blocked forever until you win. And so that's how developers get players to spend money. But I don't think that's a very effective model for a bubble shooter, because it makes it so that bubble shooter developers have to suck out all the skill. So on the bubble shooters on the app stores made by corporate developers, you will not find any speed-based kind of concept. Okay, so you're not going for fast-based gameplay, says Lueo. I'm not, but I have levels that are going for fast-based gameplay. But those are kind of they're like their own levels. It's not something that is constantly the experience, if that answers your question. But so the problem is, this is a skill-based game. If you do the saga map model, players can get stuck if you require them to have any kind of skill. So they suck at all the skill-based, they suck at all the time-based thing, all the physics, all the pressure and everything, and they have a really kind of boring game design, I would say. The obstacles are very tame compared to the obstacles I have in my game. So what I did is I got rid of the saga map entirely. Instead of going by level, you're in this world of basically it's a giant level is this world, and you can just keep making bubbles till you run out. You keep making matches, then you have to give it a little time, and you come back and your moves will be regenerated. So you're always making progress. You're never going to be blocked off forever. But you have to hit these stars, and what these stars are mini levels. So some of them are the speed-based, fast-based gameplay that you're talking about, Lueo. This one's the first level, so it's more basic. So it's a 3-color level, and so basically we have to clear all these emoji faces. And so really, strategically, all we really have to do is hit these top 3 giant matches in order to drop everything below them. Oops, I made a mistake there. So give players a lot of moves in this first level in order for them to practice the gameplay and understand the kind of goals that I'm asking them to achieve, which is to clear all these emoji faces. And so we have one more. So there's a lot of moves. Players who are really good can work on trying to beat in as few moves as possible. By beating it, we go on a streak now. And so after we beat a level, we get to spin the slot machine, and we get to earn moves from the slot machine. So we earned 3 moves from the slot machine. It goes into our move counter. So now I have 16 levels in the world. And so I have 16. So by beating these levels, I earn more moves that allow me to make more progress, that allow me to get to more stars, which allow me, if I beat them, to get more moves. So it's this loop of progress that I've created that totally avoids the saga map model, which I think is manipulative and harmful for games like bubble shooters that have some skill to them. Love it, says Lueo. Thank you so much. I'm totally open to feedback. So let me get a little higher. Where can I play the game? You can play it. The link is at the top of the screen. PlayEmojipop.com. It should be working on all devices, all browsers, but it might not be able to run if there's like an outdated old browser or something, but it should be playable on all devices, phones, and computers. Okay, cool, says Lueo. Let me know if it works. Let me know what you think of it. I would love your feedback. So these soaps, I've heard that they don't read as poppable, so it's something I need to work on. So I could go to the star and try to beat another level to get me more moves, but I'm going to skip it for now so I can go to the first speed level and show you. So I'm going to switch and hit the red, and now I can hit these soaps to drop the top. Interesting, says Ozone. So it's not level based. This overworld thing is endless. So it's not endless, but each world is really long, so they'll take you multiple sessions. I think you understand that. But it's not endless. Each world is contained. So I just beat the first world. But yeah, eventually it will be endless. I'm working on randomly generated levels at the end of it. So yeah, it's hard to describe, which is bad because it's a little complex for players who are used to this kind of game. Yeah, sorry, half working, half listening. All good. Yeah, you're totally good. So whenever you unlock a new obstacle in a new world, I also have like a little video that plays that I need to work on. So I'm trying to put myself in my own game, kind of. So yeah, so you're kind of right. They are kind of endless, but they do have like, you can think of all these worlds as one world, one endless world. But they have checkpoints where the world changes and includes new obstacles and levels up, basically. So now this is our second world. And if we run out of moves, we'll have to wait a little time, and then we can keep progressing. So yeah, the idea is it's endless in the sense that you never are blocked off. +1 YouTube video view when they unlock that emoji. Smart. Hey, yeah. do the embedded video views count as views? I wasn't even sure about that. But that could be cool. Like, so that's why I'm working so much on videos and social media, is that I want this game, it's not on the app stores, it takes place on the surface of the internet. So one crazy thing that Ozone, I think I would like you to know as well, is that the game comes with its own level creator. So you use the emojis you unlock by playing the game to design your own levels if you're interested in that. Mattman calls out the save login button. No, we need to fix that button. I think I'll do that today, actually, just so we can feel a little better about ourselves. But yeah, you can design your own levels and test them out in your level editor. And I'm working on some crazy features that you can make crazy levels and contraptions with. And then you save it, and then you can share your level. It gives you a link. I'm not logged in, so the link's not going to work. But if I logged in, it would give me a link. And I can copy this link, and I can send it to this chat, and then you could play my level immediately from any device. I could share it to social media, and if I make something really crazy using the crazy features I have in the game, maybe it could go viral, or I could get feedback from other members of the community online by them playing the level. That top UI change is almost done too, huh? Yeah, it's in the game, but I'm playing the game live at playmojidrop.com, so I'm waiting till Monday to put the UI bar change in. But I'm super excited because the Mattman helped me change the kind of color profiling of the UI bar, so it's going to be really cool looking. Lueo says that's really cool. I'm glad you think so. So like I'm working on my YouTube, for example, I'm working on level design tutorials where I walk players through how to design these levels, and that was my job in the industry. So I have lots of experience. I've been designing all the levels in this game. So my for people who are aspiring level designers or game designers or whatever, even people who don't really know how to code and they just want to like get into game design a little bit, this allows you to do game design in a really easy way. So I teach kids at a local school sometime. I teach kids how to do game design and coding, and I'll use this game design stuff as like a reward. And so I'll teach them like the core tenets of level design, and they can just within 5 minutes they can make levels and play it and share it. So it's easy to get into no matter what your skills are. I'm working with like 8-year-old children sometime. So my goal is to train the next wave of aspiring level designers out there. So I used to work as a level designer at Jam City, where Ozone works, and so I know that you can get a job as a level designer. And Ozone says they hired him in part because of his impressive things that he'd worked on in the past. And so my idea is, if you want to get hired as a game designer in the industry and you want to just like get your feet wet, you can get hired as a level designer. I can teach you how to make those levels so that you can go to these companies and say, look, I've already made the levels that are kind of in your game already, and you can show how passionate you are and dedicated to level design and game design and learning. You can explain to them, you can, like in your job interview, you could send them the link to your level and describe why you designed it certain ways and stuff like that. So I think this is going to be a great tool to like educate people who like maybe they can't go to school and stuff, but maybe they just like they can learn level design for like a year or less than that by listening to me and working with the community and getting feedback and designing levels every day. If you do that, I guarantee you, like, you don't even need to go to school. You can get a job at these companies. Like, they take into account what you've learned on your own, you know, what kinds of things you produce on your own. So that's kind of partially where I'm going with all that. So that's why I've designed the game totally differently. On the front page, I also display trending levels in the game that players have made. Levels that are cool, that are getting popular. You have like this emoji avatar that you can customize, and that gets displayed alongside your levels in the game. So that's everything. Let me show you something really cool. So this is the second world, and there's a red star here. So I'm going to hit the red star, or I could match it because it's red. So this is our first speed level. So Lueo, you were talking about fast-paced gameplay. So I want to do that in like like little vacuum chambers for the player, because I love that kind of fast-paced gameplay, but I don't want it to be throughout the entire experience, because I want it to be a somewhat casual experience. So let's play the speed level and you'll see what I'm talking about. So the level scrolls down while you're playing. So this is like our first basic level, but it's still pretty intense. And so if the emojis get below the line, I'll show you what happened. If the emojis get below the line, you get like a second to try to fix your mistake. So I could try to fix my mistake, but if I don't, the shoe crushes me and I lose the level. So that's the first time pressure paced mode. But if you note, we've played this game for 5 minutes max, maybe 3 minutes. It took us 3 minutes to get to this point in the game, and I'm already showing the player a time-based feature. If you look at the apps on the App Store of my variety, they will never introduce a time-based feature in any of their thousands of levels. I'm doing it in the first 3 minutes. So that shows you I'm embracing skill. I'm embracing the pure game design of bubble shooters. I'm embracing the fun arcadey gameplay that makes bubble shooters appealing over match 3s, you know, that these other app developers have tried to wash out. I'm really trying to embrace that, and that's why you get exposed to that in the first 3 minutes of gameplay. And in the other kind of bubble shooters on the App Store, like, you'd have to play hours and hours, thousands of levels, just to get to something relatively interesting as a gamer. So I think that's one way my game really stands apart from these other bubble shooters on the App Store, and that's as a result of me getting rid of the Saga map, which, if you're working on a bubble shooter out there and you're using the Saga map and you're not thinking about the problems that causes, then I guarantee you your game is going to be, the potential is going to be capped very low, because you're making a skill-based game in a way that punishes any use of skill, and it's a detriment to monetization, it's a detriment to just the overall experience. So that's what I'm trying to show with my game, and I'm also trying to show that we can make these mobile, as indie game developers, we often attack the corporate developers for the way they make their games. We say that they're manipulative, addictive, they're totally empty of value, blah blah blah, ruining people's lives or whatever. I don't really agree with a lot of those points, but I do agree that we can make games that are less manipulative, that are more healthy for players. And so by me removing the Saga map, I'm no longer pinching players so hard to force them to spend money. Like in games like Candy Crush, sometimes players would have to play for weeks just to get to the next level without any new content. And so that's an obvious pinching, and that sets the player and the game developer in an antagonistic relationship. And I don't want to have that relationship with my audience. So by me taking out the Saga map, by me including a level editor that allows you to learn game design in my YouTube videos and be part of a community that loves game design and level design and game development and stuff, I'm trying to give players an experience that actually gives them some value in their lives. I can even economically empower someone to learn level design if they're dedicated enough, and I guarantee you they're going to be able to get a job doing this kind of thing in the industry if they really take it seriously, you know. And in addition to not pinching players with an overbearing monetization scheme that punishes players by forcing them to not have progress for weeks on end. That's a horrible approach, I think, and it doesn't work for bubble shooters, as I pointed out in my other videos. So yeah, just kind of a summary of my game Emoji Pop. This is the live version of it. Let's pull up the in-dev version of it. I need to open up my command prompts. Yeah, so that was my little rant about my game. Thanks for listening. Let me open YouTube and Twitter comments to make sure I'm not missing out on any comments. Looks like my computer died on the side. Yeah, so feel free to play and give me feedback. I'm going to go ahead and run the game. I'm using the Cocos JS engine. So Cocos run, play Emoji Pop, and platform is web. So yeah, we're gonna kind of shift to game dev a little bit. In the mornings, I'll definitely try to do more mobile game playing. This afternoon, though, I need to spend a lot of time coding, so I figured I'd do some of it on the stream for a little bit at least. So as you see, this is the tier 2 streak, and the top UI bar is purple. That was a suggestion made by Mattman. Oh. All right. So let me go home. So this is what we're working on. So the update for Monday will be that we're including these reward loops in our games. So most games have these kind of core rewards. In my game, the most core reward is this progression. You get a new emoji every world that changes the gameplay. But we need other rewards that give players items that will give them advantages in the game, and we need to give them out to players in such a way that it reinforces core game design behaviors that we want them to do. So for example, the star chest is going to reward players every 5 stars that they beat, and so we've already got that done. So every 5 stars you beat, every 5 levels you win. If you beat them, you get this star chest that gives you coins and boosters that give you advantages in levels. We also need to work on our second reward loop, which is this fruit basket thing. And so in the game, there's these like random fruits in the level, and we need to actually still implement that so that these fruits are randomly generated. So we're gonna do that. So let me make a match with one, and I'll show you where we are. Yellow, 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 yellow. Okay, so I'm gonna make this match with the strawberry, and so it's gonna like go into the basket and then go away. We're still working on that transition. And once you get 10 of them, you get some other chest. I think right now we're going to give you a chest, but we're working on a more special reward. If you beat the fruit chest, you're going to get like the slot machine that gives you potentially a special skin or something. I think that'll be something we do next week. But first, I just want to make sure we get the core functionality of giving rewards for collecting these fruits. And then what we also did is we worked on the cosmetics. We still have a little bit to go with this, but by Monday you should be able to buy new skins and stuff in the game. And yeah, so that's something else we need to work on. I'm probably only going to work for like an hour on the stream today. After right now, I've been working on this for a couple hours, but because I got a lot of like monotonous kind of coding to do, I think that I need to focus on, so I'll do that kind of off screen like later this afternoon. But I figure I might as well just get started here. Yeah. And I think on Monday we're going to do a stream where we go through everyone's posts of the last week and play some of the new games posted, but we'll do that on Monday. That's going to be a Monday stream thing. Okay. So actually, I don't think I even have my code open anymore. Cool. So let's finish that transition. When you collect fruit, the fruit needs to go in the basket, the number needs to go up, and then we need to, after the basket goes away, they should be able to aim again. So let's do that first. So this is the code that runs check block. And anyone feel free to interrupt me if you got anything interesting to say or any feedback or games I should play, but I'm just going to keep working for now. So this is what gets run if the fruit basket needs to be moved off. So So after they remove the fruit basket, I also want to allow them to aim. So let's go to this remove fruit basket. So this is what gets called. So it runs an action on the fruit basket and fruit label. Make sublevels called emoji poo that only use the poo emoji. So like I was at one point thinking like, how can I use the poop emojis in an interesting way? Because I feel like that's like a standout emoji kind of. I was like, can I make like a mini level where there's like poop everywhere and you're just hitting stuff? Like I literally kind of had a thought about that. Emoji poo. I could make like a spin-off game where it's just poop. Bubble shooter, but it's just all poop. Yeah, and like also hit me up if anyone has like ideas for emoji obstacles. Like that's the space that I think I'm really innovating in. Poop jokes are overused sometimes, but still are funny to me. Me too, I agree. I was gonna try to come up with a quick poop joke, but I can't think of one. I thought that it could be funny to use the poop emoji maybe in a funny way, like you're kind of saying, like as a joke in the game, like when you really suck or something, like the poop emoji comes up or something in a pop-up or something, I don't really know. Or maybe there's like a competitive mode where you don't want to be the poop or something, I don't know. I'm going to allow aim after this. So I'm gonna run a sequence. So first it's gonna delay some time. I'm gonna wait 0.4 seconds, and that's how long it takes for the fruit basket to leave. And then after that, I'm going to allow the player to aim. And I'm pretty sure this is the code that needs to run for that. So I think I'm just going to copy and paste it. Let's see if it works. Allow aim shortcut. So after delaying time, I'm going to run an action that allows aim. And let's create that function. All right. Remove fruit basket. Okay. Let's try this. So I forgot, we need to open up the database so that we can set some fruit in the world. And like Madman, like if you ever have suggestions for this stream, like how I should structure things, like playing stuff in the morning, coding in the afternoon, or I don't know if you ever have any suggestions about what I'm doing, like please let me know, because like you and Kessels are the most like regular viewers, so like I'm still trying to figure out what's best for how people work while listening to me, if there's like a certain thing that works, or I don't even know, you know. So here's our database. And we're gonna open up my account. It's under users. I am at the very top. And we're going to, so I store all the world bubbles in each user because it's kind of like a live level like we were talking about, like the overworld idea. So 10, this is blue. I'm looking for a yellow or a red. A lot of blues. I need to go to row 9. So this is red, and we're gonna, it's 43, I think 43, there's 43 different types of bubbles in the game right now, and fruits are number 43, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so there's our red. So I'm gonna make this match. And there's a bug. That's good. We can see what's wrong. Sequence not defined. 10,285. 10,285. Mavin PS2 says, always thinking, but I am no pre-streamer. Not many are doing what you do, so you gotta set the bar high. Only recommendation would be figure out how to stream at 1080p, which it sounds like you tried. I did, but I think there's another way I could try it, so that's great feedback. I'm definitely gonna do that. Always thinking, but I'm no pro streamer. Not many are doing what you do, so you gotta set the bar high. Yeah, makes sense. 1080p. I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be one of my weekend tasks. Thank you for that suggestion, Matt. Man, totally makes sense. New sequence. 10.285. New cc.sequence. That's the namespace or whatever. Yeah, so I switched like the hardware I was using to stream, I realized. So I'm pretty sure maybe I can stream at higher quality. I just gotta figure that out. That was fun to have like more streamers, more chatters though. That was pretty cool to have like a good conversation going. I think giving indie devs feedback will be huge to bring people in, but not necessarily huge to bring players to your game. Makes sense. Great point. Your game's target demographic may not be other devs. Yeah, so I'm really glad you said that. That's something I've been thinking about in the last week or two especially. So I've started this mobile indie game dev group, and I've started playing games and making videos, etc. Totally makes sense. There's the GameDev Underground is a YouTube channel that I follow, and the person who runs that kind of just made their first video for the first time in a few months. But like that's something they talk about. They talk about exposure versus marketing. So, and that's something that I've kind of gotten more realistic at, and it's exactly what you're telling me, Mammon PS2. Is that stuff like what I'm doing for the mobile indie game dev groups and stuff like that. It's good for exposure. But obviously that is not as valuable as marketing, you know? So I need to be like targeting, like you're saying, I need to be targeting players of my game Emoji Pop, and then also like maybe in the Facebook group also try to target players of these mobile games as well as the developers. But specifically for my game, you're right, like indie game devs might not be my target. It's gonna be, it's a casual mobile game, you know? So yeah, you're right, of course they're not, you know? I was thinking because there's a game design feature that you can share levels, I was thinking maybe there's some overlap, but I'm realizing the overlap's probably pretty small. I think you're totally right that I need to be going after players of these games, and so I'm still figuring out how to do that without too many resources, but I've got some ideas, but I'm always open to ideas of anyone, or you, Matt Man, if you think of like beyond advertising money, like if you can think of ways to target them. Bet you $200 that there are more potential Emoji Pop gamers on TikTok than Twitch. I think that's a very great point. That's a very great point. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm kind of trying to adjust to that reality, you know. I like the idea of giving myself exposure. And this game is a game. Emoji Pop to me is a game about game design in some ways, in sense of the level creator and how I'm kind of creating with people. So I don't know. I like streaming on Twitch and stuff like that. But you're right. I think I need to focus on those other channels. Like you mentioned TikTok. That's probably a good place for me. I should probably spend more time making TikToks. Instagram might be okay because there's a lot of maybe casual mobile gamers there. But you have two different business models: game dev advice, video stream, and then the game itself. Yeah, it totally makes sense that those are kind of distinct from one another and not really feeding into my game or anything. Yeah, I still think it's valuable for me. For now, just to get some exposure, because I had no exposure before, Um, but it totally makes sense. I need to focus a lot more on the game itself. I think that's going to come more when I'm ready to go on the App Store. So maybe I'm okay right now, gaining exposure, spending time getting exposure just for myself, and then to have like some amount of people who would maybe consider installing the game when I release. I still think it's valuable, just something to consider. Thank you, Matt PS2, for that feedback. That is so great to hear, and thank you for being honest with that feedback and super valuable feedback. It's something that I really need to think about. And yeah, I'm totally considering it. Like, maybe that's something that I can really slam my foot on the gas with when I'm getting close to the App Store. I'm sure it motivates you to keep improving your game, though. Yeah, totally. Because like I was getting burned out by a lot of this stuff, so this is good for a break, and it is motivating for sure. Like you're saying, to keep working on the game and everything. I think it's good while I'm working on the game, but then maybe I think you might be right that at a certain point I might need to divert resources into the game, getting it on the App Store, and targeting users of mobile casual games. And so I think that transition is going to happen eventually. But yeah, like you're saying, it's motivating me. And you're right that I think it is valuable to have that exposure. Hey, by the way, Kessel, thanks for coming back. We had a pretty good chat about mobile games and stuff like that in the chat today. I really enjoyed that. I think Kessel's was out for most of that. But yeah, that was a good stream, I thought. Yeah, something to think about for sure. So I fixed the sequence. Keep giving me feedback or any ideas you think of. I'm just going to keep going forward a little bit while I'm thinking about that. I need to add another fruit to the world. This is a lemon. Yeah, it's pretty interesting to think about all of that and what my strategy should be. I think I've been starting to kind of try to target some people like on Facebook about my game just to get impressions and stuff of people in the space. I did a little bit of ad stuff just to get some initial users a little bit. I think I need to think about that more. Okay, so it worked. So we made the change so that once the basket is removed, we're allowed to aim and stuff. So now let's make the thing so that when the basket pops out, the lemon pops in and disappears. So let's do that. Yeah, the way I see it is I got like another month. I got like another month or 1 month. Batman says there are definitely game devs who enjoy playing other games. Sure, most of us probably actually do, but they're just tiny pieces of the pie. Totally makes sense, and that's really realistic, great advice. Yeah. Let me go to the code. I was gonna say something about that. Yeah, so I think like I need to try to like target these casual mobile gamers more. Like, I got another month. Continue. Oh yeah. Thank you. So yeah, the way I say this, I got another month of like core improvements I need to make, like core UI updates, core stuff about the art, just getting these core reward loops in the game, getting all these features that I have in the game functional and bug free and everything like that. Just polishing it. So I think I got like another month of that, like of things that I know I would need to do before the App Store anyway. And so I think once I get to my game in that shape, then I think, okay, let's get a V1 out for the App Store. So I think at that point, that's probably where, once I get on the App Store, I think that's where I need to start targeting these mobile casuals, because that's kind of, I think I've noticed a lot of them kind of like, they're like, why would I go to a website? Like, you need to put your game in the App Store. So like for those kinds of players, it might be beneficial if I was already on the App Store to kind of be marketing my game to them. So the way I see it is like, maybe I keep going with this game dev route for another month or whatever it takes to like get my game in like in a polished state, and then once I put on the App Store, which is gonna be a whole whole thing, but hopefully I can do it on at least Android or Google. Then I can maybe start pushing that. Look, I'm on the App Store. I'm a mobile casual game developer. Like, look at this game I made. Like, maybe that's where I kind of start pushing it. And then in the meantime, I can kind of test the waters and see like what kinds of like reach outs to those kind of players work. Like, what kinds of places for ads is that the best to market my game on? What other ways of reaching out, or what other kinds of videos targeted towards those people, or whatever it is. Like, I'm looking for ideas on how to reach these casual gamers that don't require like huge ad spending. But yeah, I've got a lot of ideas. But yeah, so that's what I was saying with the month. I was thinking like, I feel like for the next month, I want to go hard on this mobile indie dev group and everything like that, and then I think it can kind of live on its own a bit, and I can I don't have to work at like getting new people to join and stuff like that, or reaching out to members of the community and whatever. So like, that's what I'm thinking. In a month, maybe I make a shift to casual mobile mode, you know. But feel free to keep giving me your feedback on anything. I love thinking about this stuff. Really useful to me. So after the basket pops out, let's search for fruit basket. So this creates a basket and its label, and this is what moves it. So we also need to, after a certain amount of time, we need to add the limit in there. Good thoughts, just wanted to bring it up. Thank you so much, Mattman PS2. Let me know if your thinking evolves in any of this, or if you got any ideas for me. This is awesome feedback. This is like the most valuable, like one of the most valuable things for me is getting feedback from people like you, like on what I'm doing and stuff. Like, because I'm totally new to all this, you know, and this is really great feedback. So let's go to the other fruit basket place. Okay, so this is where I move the basket. This is where I move it to the center. Oh, this is where I move the fruit to the center. So this is where the lemon came down. And then after like a certain amount of time, it should move into the basket. I should do it here though, because I don't have a reference for it. So I'm gonna change this to a sequence. So fruit seek equals new cc.sequence. Mattman says, have you ever watched a new player play your game live? Someone in your target demographic, like a 40-year-old or random woman in the streets? I've learned so much from doing that. In my experience on other games, I've learned an insane amount. But on this game, I have occasionally, but it's usually someone I kind of know. It's never a stranger. I would have wanted to get a lot more feedback in the last whatever months. Like, I was planning on like to go to random places and ask people to play the game, but then this pandemic happened, and like you can't really be swapping your phones with people, you know, and like it's just awkward to kind of communicate with people in public like that. And so that I was planning on doing that more, but I haven't been able to, because that's a great piece of feedback. Like, I have like insane revelations whenever, in my experience of making games, whenever I like have like a playtest session. Like, I'll learn something, like they'll say like a playtester in my demographic will like say something in a certain way, and I'll be like, oh, that makes me understand how certain kinds of players view this game now, and it totally changes my perspective on what the game even is too. I know a random kid who gave me feedback, and I paid him $5 to $10. He gave me feedback. Let me know if you want me to hunt him down. I'm okay for now, but I could probably arrange that myself. Thank you so much for that offer. But yeah, it's something to think about. I know that there's even when I was at Jam City, there were companies that had like play testers like as part of like signed into their platform, and so you could place like a playtest session with them. You could pay them some money, and they would tell like 10 of their playtesters or whatever it is that are in your demographics to play your game, and they record their screen live and give you auditory feedback while they're playing it. So like there's paid services that you can do that. I'm guessing they're pretty expensive probably. You learn a lot from it. You'd be surprised how people react to a new game. Yeah, and I haven't done that in a long time, so I would probably be shocked. I've only done that with like relatives or something like that when I've seen them the last like 6 months or so. That is a good point though. That is something I should pursue more. Yeah, I should look into it online. Like maybe we can find some kind of playtest service that would work for me or something. But like right now, also I'm like, I feel like I always have like so much to like do it sooner than later. It's something I thought of. Yeah, it makes sense. I feel like as the developers, we're always like, oh, I need to work on the game more, but I don't want to playtest it yet. I need to keep working on the game. But then like, you want to learn the lessons as early as possible is the point, right? I just found that kid on Reddit. Yeah, for sure. You can feel free to, like, I don't really feel like spending any money on that right now, but it might be good to have his like contact or whatever, if he's willing to do that. That's a really good idea, though. I should think about how I can do that on my own. Because yeah, I totally agree with you. I tell people that as well, other game developers. I'm like, playtest your game as much as possible, as many people as you can. Because yeah, like I've had like some of the craziest game design moments in my life is after a playtest session, and then I'm like, oh my god, I just think what this game is totally changed in my head. And I just am like shocked about it for a day, and I'm like so excited that I've learned so much. You know, I just paid money because I asked for like 10-15 minutes showing finger movements. Kind of hard to record, and it was worth paying. Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, feel free to send, if you got the link or whatever, feel free to send it on Discord or whatever. I'd love to maybe reach out to him or something. Fruit seek. So I'm gonna, I spelled sequence wrong. I'm glad I saw that now. Let's do, so first is gonna be this move function that moves it to the center of the screen. Then we're going to run this fruit sequence. So after it moves, we want to delay time. I have no idea for how long. And then we need to run another move too that moves the fruit into the basket. So first moves into the center, waits a second, moves into the basket. Move to point 1. This dot aim indicator dot y plus this dot aim indicator dot height over 2. Okay, so that should move it into the basket. I don't know how this timing is going to work. Let's see. Yeah, also I might need to think about the order of operations here a bit, because if I move fruit down, what if there's more fruit that's going to be matched above or something? I don't know. This is like a little V1 at least. There's a bug or something. iPlays fam is playing Monsters Expedition, so maybe, like Madman suggested, we'll raid and host their chat after we're done here. If they're still live or whatever. Dunch. Okay, it's 7839. Why is there a random var? Let's try it again. Alright. So let's put a fruit in. Madman says, weekend plans, I'm going camping. Nice, that sounds awesome. Weekend plans. I don't have any weekend plans. I had some friends who are meeting up, but they're kind of far away. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it, so I'm probably going to be working on this game, honestly, over the weekend. I need to put some work into this feature, because I had kind of a week doing other stuff, so I'm probably going to be recording videos and working on this update so it's ready for Monday. But I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. I just got to make sure I'm drinking beer, while I'm doing it or something. Camping sounds fun, though. The smoke is finally clearing in California. Like, this is like the first day that it smelled okay outside, kind of. So like, maybe I'll like go outside for the first time in a while. Work, Rihanna. Oh man, I like Rihanna in a way. Like some of her songs sometimes. Like my favorite is "Birthday Cake." I think that's the best Rihanna song. I'll still rock out to that beat. Cake, 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 cake. So we'll make this a strawberry. Let's refresh. Is there anything trending on Twitter? Okay, need a strawberry, yellow, red. Okay, so the timing could have been, it could have moved a little after, so it was a little too soon. So let's give it a delayed timer of 0.3 seconds. When it moves down, it needs to be a little right of center actually. It shouldn't be this dot width over 2, it needs to be plus, we need to figure out what the width of the basket is. This dot aim indicator. So the fruit basket should be fruit basket. So I'm gonna see. Let's see if the fruit basket is even defined at this point. This dot fruit basket dot width times this dot fruit basket dot scale over 2. Let's do 0.35. All right. Let's add a lemon to the level. Here's a lemon. Oh, yeah, but I feel like just like communicating with Matt and PS2 and Kessels and all these other people who make indie mobile games, I feel like I'm learning a lot and it's totally motivating, like you said, Matt, man. Like, I'm pretty excited to like nail down this game and get it out there. Like, seeing everyone's commitment and being inspired by their designs is pretty motivating. I still can't believe the Ozone is from Jam City in the chat. That is hilarious. I was like, oh man, like there's people we know in common. That's crazy. Like, it's insane. I get more done watching you than I would a non-game dev video. Sweet, awesome. Yeah, I'm really curious to know about like how people listen to me. Mine still blown, says Ozone. That's hilarious, dude. Yeah. Oh man, I miss everyone over there. It was great to like work with other people like that. It's cool that Madman, you get more done watching this in a non-game dev video. Like that's interesting. Maybe this stream could be like a motivator for other people working on their projects, and as well as a good distraction sometimes. After that lemon moves to the basket, we need to remove it. So oops. So that's what we're gonna do next in the code. Oh man, I have a lot of funny stories from Jam City. I did a lot of funny, weird ass stuff. I got pretty messed up at some company parties. Pretty funny. It was a freaking, I went through like a journey being at Jam City. I felt like I like lived a whole life just in that 2 years of that job. Yeah, so we need to remove it. So this is where we move it into the basket. I heard Emoji Pop got drunk at company parties and slept on benches. There was one company party afterwards. I didn't have my keys. It was a crazy story. Like, I left my keys in a backpack, and I just didn't have my keys, so I couldn't get into my apartment. And the apartment like managers, like, they wouldn't let me into my apartment. Speaking of getting drunk, almost 5 p.m. I'm envious of you. It's only It's only like almost 1 o'clock here, unfortunately. I'm envious though. I hope you have a good afternoon break, especially for Fridays. Fridays at Jam City were my favorite because like everyone could drink, and I was young. I was really young then, especially. So I feel like I kind of got a free pass. So like me and my friend, we would always like just leave on Friday at lunch, and we'd like pick up some beers or alcohol at like Target next door, and we'd come back and have a great time like Friday afternoon, like drinking and playing levels or whatever. Like that was, I think that's one of my favorite things is like you could drink at work with other people. Like that just blew my mind. Frat or Jam City, hard to tell. Yeah, it was not a frat, unfortunately, but yeah, I think you can definitely like have fun and kind of enjoy yourself as long as you're like productive, kind of. So it's kind of like a cool environment. Like I don't know if it's changed or not. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. Yeah, one time I ended up sleeping in the parking garage outside my apartment because I couldn't get into my place, and it was horrible. It was really cold. Yeah, Fridays are pretty chill, says Ozone. Yeah, so I forgot they're all working remotely still, I'm pretty sure. So like, that's pretty weird. It would be weird to work remotely. It's gonna be weird when everyone comes back to the office if that happens, and like, I don't know, that's gonna be a weird environment after everyone's been so like closed off. I could see that being really fun in some ways. Yeah, when I worked there, I used to work at both offices. So like, I'd spend the morning at like the 2nd Street office, and then I'd walk over to the Tiny Co office, whatever they call it now. I forget what it's called. We were supposed to not call it the Tiny Co office, so I forget whatever the new name was. Alright, so after we move it to the basket, let's remove it from the screen. And so that's easy to do. That's just cc dot, forget what it is. Oh, I think it's cc, we gotta do, oops, cc.callfunc. Ozone, Mattman says, Ozone, hopefully you got a good deal on rent. SF is expensive. Yes, it is. So I think most people don't live in San Francisco. Most people live in like East Bay, like, or Oakland or something. I lived in Walnut Creek, in like a little box of a studio apartment. And it was insanely expensive, and I was like an hour away. Ozone's in SF, but I think I got a good deal. That's awesome. That's pretty rad that you get to live in the city. So call funk. This dot bubbles matched bubble indices I dot remove from parent, and then the second parameter is this parent variable. Enter. Yeah, I missed the company parties for sure. There's no company parties at I don't even know what to call it. Just me making games. There's no parties here. Just me drinking on my own. Yeah. So let's add another fruit so we can test. So this is going to be strawberry. So I'm really excited to stream on Monday and show off all the progress I'll have made over the weekend on this game, and also on Monday we'll play a bunch of indie mobile games and kind of talk about them. Monday is my big stream for that, and I'll stream it to the Facebook group as well. Yeah, next week's also going to be the first week where we're going to have YouTube videos coming out every single day. On Monday will be our, I'm doing a dev vlog every Monday that shows the new features in the game and how we've been working on it. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm doing this emoji podcast where we talk about mobile games and a certain aspect of mobile game design. Just realized it ran out of moves, so normally I'd have to wait like an hour before my moves regenerate or whatever the time is, but instead I'm just gonna add it to my database. World moves, I'll give myself 10. Yeah, I can see like remote working, like that must kind of hurt like the culture of the company a bit, because like everyone's on their own. Like, yeah, I could see that being kind of annoying. Like, I'd go crazy after a while. Okay, there's a bug. Let's see what the bug is. Matched bubble indices is not defined. 7835. It's probably just a typo. Matched bubble indices. So that is a variable we have access to. So it's probably because it's in the sequence. Remove from parents. What's the bug say again? Is not defined. Okay. So after we move it, we need to delete it somehow. There's like this weird thing where these actions, you get a little messed up sometimes. So instead of calling that function, remove fruit, and this is the parent, and then we include the attribute, which is okay, how about this? Instead of doing this, I got a better idea. Let's add it to like a variable that we can access. So this dot cur fruit equals this dot bubbles matched bubble indices I. And we'll call this dot remove fruit this. So we need a remove fruit function. This dot cur fruit. So we're just going to remove this. And we'll set to null, so it deletes the memory. Okay. So this is going to work if there's one piece of fruit. We'll have to update it when there's multiple fruits at once, but that's something we'll have to reconsider anyway. Let's add a new fruit to the database so that we can test it out. sure I didn't do anything wrong. Looks okay. I wish it was 5 o'clock here. Dang it. So it looks like there's something wrong. Yeah, our indie mobile game dev group is up to 91 members now, so we'll definitely hit 100 over the weekend. Oh, correct myself, 92. Nope, 91. One time at Jam City, they had like some kind of keynote thing or something, and it was like Jam City Day or something. I don't know what they were doing, and they had a special guest that was going to come and talk to the whole company, and the special guest ended up being the guy who played the CEO of Dunder Mifflin at the beginning of The Office. So we were all like, wait, what? Like, this is just like a random person, in culture to talk to Jam City. And like, I don't know, it was so weird. We were, like, people were asking him questions about The Office. It was like, this is like the keynote speaker. Like, I don't know, it was really funny at the time. I don't know, just a random Jam City memory. Like, they like want to do big stuff kind of for employees, but sometimes it's like, this, no one really cares about this random guy from The Office. Like, it's pretty funny. Bubble layer is not defined. Okay, tell me why. 7837. That should be a semicolon. Alright, keep going. Yeah, actually, I wasn't trying to get a job at Jam City at first. I got a job as like a front-end software developer or whatever at a company in San Francisco while still in college. So that's how I ended up getting in San Francisco. But then that job laid me off after I had bought a year lease on an apartment. And I had like no money, and so I was desperate for a job in San Francisco because I had signed a huge release on an apartment there, and so I ended up getting lucky at the last second getting a job at Jam City before I like went bankrupt. So that's how I ended up working at Jam City actually, and it worked out actually. 7837. Did I spell this wrong? Did I spell without an I? Yeah. Was this what was wrong before? Let me try it. So this fruit, remove from parent, that's something that every object has, that function. Oops, I got a beer. Way to go, Matt, man. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I think I'm just going to work on this all day and then just walk out there and just, I think I have some Modelo's in the fridge. I'm just going to chug one. What are you drinking, Matt, man? Okay, so this was our 10th fruit. So we got the reward. And for some reason the screen's black now. That's a problem, but okay, we'll keep going. Got a nice view at your place in Cali? Not really. I'm living in like local MI Blackberry, local Michigan Blackberry Seltzer. That sounds interesting. That sounds pretty good, actually. I've never had anything like that before. Got a nice view at your place in Cali. Not really. So I'm living in the Central Valley, so it's kind of like just the armpit of California, where it's a nice place, but like it's super hot and like there's nothing really around. There's some mountains in the distance, I guess. But yeah, I used to live in the SF area. I used to live in Santa Cruz. That was a beautiful place, down south. Used to live there for a bit, but yeah, not really a great view from where I am in Cali. And this is the first day you get any view at all because it's been smoky all the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm guessing in Michigan maybe you got some better access to nature. You said you're going camping. We live really close to Yosemite, actually, but it's just like, I don't know, it's not something that I see, I guess. It's a little too far away. Oh, so when I remove it, the screen goes black. Let me try calling this function Z. There's a lot of nature in Cali, just not in the Central Valley, lol. Yep. What Ozone said, exactly. I'm technically from Fresno, so wherever I end up going and meeting new people, I say I'm from Fresno, and everyone's like, oh, everyone who's from Fresno like talks crap about Fresno, so everyone knows I live in like a crappy place, Yeah. I literally live in Death Valley. They literally call it Death Valley. Like, why did people decide to live here? Oh my god. Fresno was founded, I know this is a random history lesson, but there were a bunch of people, settlers out here, who went to Napa and because they wanted to grow wine, and so that ended up being a really great place to grow wine. And then there were a group of them that were like, we gotta find our own place, and so they came to Fresno and they grew the grapes, and then summer came and then everything died because nothing can grow here, and that's how raisins became a part of our local economy. Like, I think raisins were popularized here because we couldn't grow anything except for raisins because they're just dead fruit, Napa wine is nice. Yes, it is. Napa's amazing. So Fresno's nice in the sense that I'm close to everything that's cool in California. Like, I'm 3 hours away from North Bay. I'm 3 hours away from LA. I'm like 6 hours away from Vegas, but like I'm kind of in the center of everything. So like it's a little trip to go wherever you want, I guess. Let's add some more fruit to the database. Yeah, it was pretty cool living in the San Francisco area though for a while, especially coming from Fresno. It's weird being in like an actual city, as weird as that sounds. What was I doing? Let's add fruit. I'm curious what people at Jam City think about remote working. Do they enjoy remote working? Do you enjoy remote working? Or are people over it? Or I'm guessing there's probably a lot of people who are lazy and like working from home and stuff. Like, that's just a natural thing to like that, Like, who wouldn't like that? But also, I'm guessing there's a lot of people who like human interaction. I'm guessing there's people like that out there. I don't know. Like, I wonder if any of these companies will just stick to. Totally depends on the person. Okay. I was wondering if like this is a motivator for these companies to like make some workers just work from home more often. I think a few days a week at work and a couple days at home is ideal. That's what Ozone says. I think that totally makes sense. That's cool. And sometimes you got a lot of work to do in a way, and maybe you don't have any meetings. Like those, like it'd be cool if people could just take those days to work at home or whatever. But I know that there's some people that I've worked with people who like. They don't I don't know, they like to work as little as possible, and when they're working at home, they're like not really working that much. I know that there's some people out there, but like you gotta trust your workers, like you hired them, so it makes sense. You gotta I don't know, I think that makes sense. You get some in time. It makes sense. You need at least some like in-person communication because that's how you like build. I think 3-day work weeks are ideal. Problem is I can't get enough done, says Matt. Man, yeah, but Ozone, just to be clear, is saying 5 days a week, but a couple of those you're working at home, and then a few of them you're like in the office working. But yeah, I think 1-day work weeks are ideal for me, honestly, just speaking personally. So we got the lemon, it goes in there, it disappears, basket goes away. We got the good flow going. Okay, so now when that fruit goes in the basket, let's increment that number before it disappears. Or decrement it. 0-day work weeks, says Mattman. Negative day work weeks. JK, I'd be so bored. Yeah. Do you think, like, game development's fun for you, right? Like, even though it's work and sometimes you don't want to do the things you're working on, but, like, I'm guessing the whole thing was really fun for you in a way, you know? Like, I'm guessing. Or is it like a love-hate kind of thing? Yeah, if you weren't doing anything, I'm guessing you'd be doing game development, you know? Like, that's, if I didn't have to work, I would still want to be doing this stuff, you know? This is like my passion or whatever. I like making games, yeah, fun times, a good chunk of days. Totally agree, Mattman. But yes, I could totally see there's some things, like dealing with, like, the exporting of to certain stores and stuff like that. That stuff seems like nightmarish, but like, and not very fun, but like, yeah, you get satisfaction from putting something out there. Wish ads didn't need to be packed in my game, but it is what it is. Makes sense. I think you're like realistically designing your games for the landscape that we're living in, you know, economically and technologically and everything. Yeah, it makes sense. Like, and the way you implement them, to me, it seems really friendly, you know. So I think you're doing a good job, at least, of integrating them. So let's go where we get the fruit basket label. Set string to 0. So I'm gonna set it to 10. Actually, it should be whatever the fruit prog is. Do I have access to that here? So this is where we set the string for the fruit basket. Oh wait. Is this -1 maybe? See, we don't want to set to 0 for sure. Oh, there's a bug here. So I'm setting it here. Madman's asking Ozone, why learning Unreal versus Unity, Ozone? I think that's an interesting question. I really want to start learning Unity, but I'm going to wait until I have this game in a better place. 10 minus fruit prog. Alright, let's just see about this. Ozone says, I've been doing Unity for like 5+ years and I use Unity for work, right? So I want to learn Unreal to expand my knowledge, opens up more job opportunities. Makes sense. Mattman says, oh, very nice. Good answer. How's the transition going? That's an interesting question, too. Fruit basket label. Let's just try this. Add some fruit to the database. $43. Ozone says, smoother than I thought. I'm just following a Udemy tutorial for now, then I'll do a prototype. I don't like C++ though. Ah. Interesting. C++, it's been a long time since I've used that. That's what I first started programming with, C and C++ when I was like in high school. Bubble layer's not defined. What did I do? Ten 114. Oops. Forgot to fix that one. Let's get the strawberry. Okay, so the label's right, but it doesn't change. Minus this, minus 1. I think this minus 1 might be messing it up, actually. Yeah, I'm really excited to finish this over the weekend, though, and I also need to fix the bugs for my latest obstacle. Have you Fresno area folks ever seen the guy on YouTube who bought a ghost town just outside of Lone Pine? I've been watching his YouTube videos lately. Town is called Cerro Gordo. No. I'm gonna look that up unless you have a quick link. Lone Pine, Cerro Gordo. Cerro Gordo. Ghost Town. What the heck? Is this for like Halloween? What the heck?
It just sounds ridiculous. I've been living in an abandoned town for 6 months by myself. But it's true. I'm here. I am sitting at Cerro Gordo mining town. This is a town that has been my residence for the past 6 months. I came up here in March to kind of escape the pandemic. Figuring I'd come up for 3-4 weeks. Here we are. 6 months later, I'm still here, and this is home now. You know, I think before it was a place I would come and visit. Now it's home. When I'm not here, it's where I want to be. When I'm not getting groceries, I want to come back. It's weird that somebody would be so excited about coming back to a, you know, old mining town with no running water. But I fucking love it here. There was carpet, and I probably have a video that I can find of me ripping up the carpet and the carpet pad and then sanding that.
This guy's video is really long. This is interesting.
And then finishing it. But now it's at least comfortable. You know, we're not renting these out anytime soon, so people could come, stay other way. So it's been 6 months of a lot of personal growth as well as, you know, growth for the town. We're over on the back side of the property. Tofu! It's like clockwork, it's so good.
Oh my god. Apparently there was a murder a week there when the town was popping. So like, it's probably got all this like demon energy to it, right? So he's like renovating this whole town. That is crazy. How did this guy get the money? I guess maybe it doesn't cost that much money to buy a ghost town. For sale, one California ghost town. Alright, I'm gonna log off. Gotta get some work done. Good shit today, guys. Thank you so much, Ozone. Thanks for showing me your ninja jump game. Best of luck to you. Come feel free to come here anytime you want and chat. We'd love to chat game design or check out your games or whatever it is. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great weekend. He explores mines and stuff. Investors, 1.4 mil. End goal is to rent out to people. I don't think that's a horrible idea. Peace out, Ozone. Jam citizens, unite, or something. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, so this was back in 2018 that it was up. Crazy.
Up here for 30 or 40 years, told me, listen, if you want to make a run of that water, we'll get a team together. And
I'm like intrigued by the fact that this guy's content is so long. You know, the videos, like, it's like he's really confident in, like, I don't know, it's like he's making these mini documentaries or something. That's pretty interesting.
And that's all I had to hear. That's all I had to hear. I've been up here for a while, getting more confident with stuff, so put together a crew, put together a very experienced operator that can operate the hoist, so basically control the cable that lets this cage down. Found the man who had last seen the pump running that actually had a replacement pump, and just some other people. So supposedly what happened was, back in the day, the water would pool at the 700 level, and there's a pump down there, and the pump would pump the water 700 feet straight up and come out this pipe right over there. And that's how the town had water for at least 10 or 20 years. That's how water was supplied to the town. And then the pump burnt out about 15 years ago, or so rumor has it. And so for the past 15 years, Cerro Gordo has been without any running water at all. And let me tell you, you don't truly appreciate how much your life depends on running water until you don't have it. I mean, I know you're probably theorizing, oh, showers are tough, this stuff, everything is more difficult. I've gotten used to it over the past 6 months, but every time that I go back to, like...
Wow, so apparently original levies, originally made for miners, makes sense. If found intact, be worth 100K. So basically treasure hunts for parts sometimes. That is such a cool setup for like an endeavor and a YouTube channel. That is so cool. I'm excited to like look at more of this guy's videos. He has 200K subscribers.
4 hours into the...
I spent my life savings on an abandoned ghost town. Crazy. That's pretty dope. It's like that's interesting. So he's been doing like a video a week or a video a month before that. Most of them are like 10 minutes, 20 minutes long. This one was 40 minutes long. Interesting. That's where I imagine you live. That's pretty funny. It's funny because like friends that I've had like for long periods of time, like this is how they think of Fresno as well. The way everyone talks about it, which is pretty funny because everyone from Fresno is very self-deprecative about it. But then when they actually see a picture of Fresno or they come to visit, they're like, "Oh my God, you guys have like buildings. It's like a city." I'm like, "Yeah, Fresno's actually a city. It's not actually like an abandoned like wasteland." You know, like I think it's like the 6th biggest city in California, actually. Like, it's something like that. But yeah, that's pretty funny that that's where you imagine I live. This is funny. This would be cooler than I live, honestly.
The newest residents of Cerro Gordo.
Getting supplies.
I mean,
One day this guy's going to stop uploading videos and we're all going to slowly realize that he's no longer with us.
like that.
Is he by himself? Like, oh my God, that'd be creepy. That's pretty cool. I got addicted to this one style video that's really, really lame to talk about. But you'll have to go find him if he stops uploading. Yeah. And someone else is going to have to buy the town and continue where he left off. I got addicted to this one kind of video. It's like, this is going to sound so lame, but it's first time meetup videos. So there's this kind of YouTube video. It's like a genre of YouTube video where there's two people who are dating remotely. Like, they've never met each other before. Like, they're usually younger and they find each other on social media or whatever it is. And so what I love about this kind of video is that there's so many of them. There's so many people who watch YouTube, who watch these videos of people meeting for the first time, who are like, I want to have a relationship and a thing like that, and then they do it and they make their own videos. So there's like all these videos that people have made, and I love them because they're all so similar. Sounds interesting, says Matt Man. I'm glad you're interested. We'll watch one right now. But like, it's funny because they all follow the same structure of, there's the beginning, and in the beginning they play like a kind of a somber song talking about what life was before they met their partner, and then how they're like now. Not lame, says Matt Man. Cool. Like, I'm like, yeah, I get like obsessed over weird things like this. Like, it's like you're like psychologically analyzing humanity a little bit, you know, with these kinds of videos. Then in the middle of the video, it switches songs. They meet up, and there's like a camera circling them or whatever. Like, they follow the same formula, and then once in a while you'll find one that twists the formula a bit. It's like this insane like artistic medium, even though it's a bunch of like people that I don't know. Like, I would make certain judgments on. Like, I don't know how real these people are, but let me try to find one. First time meeting, long distance relationship. So let's just watch one.
She's got me recording this. She's gonna escape.
Oh, this is a compilation. So it's been a few years since I've watched these, so it seems like they've gotten more professional, honestly, and I think that ruins the value of them. So yeah, I like to have a few beers in the evening and then pull up first time meeting long distance relationship videos, and I'm just like, look at these losers. No.
December 17, 2015, the day it all started.
I can still shut down the party.
So yeah, it starts with a soft song, text, and they always pick like the same kind of music. It's like, I don't know, whatever this music is, this is like the kind of music they always use. I'm too single to watch videos like this. Gonna make me find an online woman across the ocean. I'm in the same boat as you. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. My family watches 90 Day Fiancé, and so we'll talk about that show and how I should join for it, you know? But I love how melodramatic these videos are. It's like so dramatic. It's like so dramatic. It's so long. Yeah, I'm single for this. I'm too single for this, LOL. That's pretty funny. We gotta see the meetup. So there's always this beginning section where it's about how they met and their struggles, and then it builds up to this climax. We gotta wait for the commercial. 3 beers deep and I'll be reaching out to everyone on Snapchat. That's hilarious. That's really funny. I find my social media behaviors are very different after I'm 3 beers deep. When I'm 3 beers deep, I will like every single post on Facebook. Not because I'm being a troll, but just because I'm like, I have some connection with every single person on my Facebook feed after I'm 3 beers deep, you know? Like, oh, this person posted about this. Oh, and I forgot about this person. I should reach out to them. I'm like, that's kind of like my social media. Like, yeah, haha, true, says Matt Man. Alright, I'm over this video. Oh, let's just get to the very end. So usually they have like this big thing where there's music playing. Normally it's more dramatic than this. Alright. Now I'm feeling creepy watching this, so let's stop watching these videos. But I just think that they're an interesting phenomenon to observe. Yeah, so we are 3 hours into the stream. I'm so glad I actually got to stream. I didn't think it was going to work. Thank God it worked. I have a lot of work to do this weekend. I might stop the stream here so I can get some lunch. It's like a little after 1. Kind of awkward watching it too. Yeah, it's more fun on your own. Honestly, it's not. I thought it'd be a good group activity, and I'm like, this is awkward. But it's just insane if you could see how many there are. 3 beers deep, and I'm about to buy a ghost town. You have 2 choices: either find a girl overseas or go to an abandoned ghost town and live there. That would be an interesting angle for your YouTube channel or for your game development company. Like, earn enough money to buy a ghost town and then make that your like company, like make that where your company is like located. You know, and so if you want to work for you gotta go to the abandoned ghost town, and you spend half your time like growing like wheat or something, and the other half you're working on the game. You can get other crazy indie developers like you and me to go work there too. The internet is too slow in ghost towns. There's always something holding you back though, Matt. Man, you can't let that hold you back. You don't need internet to make internet games. You can code them all without testing, and then drive out of the ghost town, or you can even send it to me and I can test. You can code, and then I'll run your code here and test the game, and I can videotape it and send it back to you. Oh, I guess you can't send it to me if there's no internet, huh? Yeah, maybe not the best idea then. But I don't know. Keep thinking on it. Maybe you can figure out a way to make it work. Just make sure you find the ghost town with the Levi's jeans buried in it somewhere. You could get I'm not doing that. Maybe like a week vacation in a ghost town for an escape. I would be down for that, honestly. Like, if that guy was renting out those cabins, I would be concerned what kinds of people go there. I'd be afraid there'd be some like psychopath that wants to sleep there. But like, I would be down for something like that too. It'd be cool if he did some kind of like game thing, like an escape room is like an experience, so it couldn't be like an escape room, but like some kind of ghost town experience, like some kind of game. There's a mystery to solve or something like that. I feel like that could be really cool, but probably I don't know. Maybe that's a crazy business. You legit can easily go when he is done. Yeah. Another idea I had is you could buy a ghost town. Probably only a few hours from you. Yeah, how far away is that? I saw you said the place where it is. Cerro Gordo. Oops. Map. There's a Cerro Gordo in Illinois, California. Kind of hard to find a good map of it, but yeah, I'm probably Owens Valley, Salinas. Yeah, I don't think I'm too far from this area. Yeah, go to Google Maps. Yeah, I was going to, but I was like, is this like a legit place that is like registered? Cerro Gordo, California. Yeah, that was pretty lame of me to use Google Images. Cerro Gordo, here it is. Yeah, not too far from Death Valley. Yeah, so I'm not far away from here. Alright, look at Fresno right here. You don't have to dox your location, just wonder how far it is. Yeah, so I'm like in the Fresno area, and so it's like a couple hours probably drive. Let me map it. It is, wow. Okay, so it's a huge drive. That is weird. So we're not that far away, but look, to drive there, you have to go all the way down and around the mountains and around the park. So yeah, that for that reason, it's a lot longer. I'm pretty close to it, but it'd be a long drive. But like, if I could just go straight away, it would be a lot closer. I guess there's no road that just connects like this. That's crazy. So yeah, it's in my area. It's like a 4.5 hour drive though. Why can't there just be a road like this? I could be there by dusk. We should all like descend upon the ghost town at once and like take it over. I was thinking you could buy a ghost town and then you could be like competing with his ghost town business, and you could be like arch nemesis on YouTube. Oh. Alright, I think we streamed for 3 hours. Next week we're gonna have a big week. Game content released on Monday. I'm not taking it over, says Mattman. I would rent it like a normal human. Alright, if you want to do it the boring way, feel free. I like to do things the big way, which sometimes involves physical force, but I know that's not up everyone's alley. I think I'm gonna stop streaming for today. I have a lot of work I want to do that's kind of redundant, so I can do that in the afternoon and evening. On Monday we'll have an update ready for the game, including the UI bar update and the reward loops I've been working on with you, Mattman. We're gonna have videos every day that week. We're gonna have a good game dev stream every day. On Monday we'll do our normal indie mobile game dev stream. Peace out, good luck this weekend. You too. We have a relaxing weekend camping. That sounds super fun. Sorry it's not in an abandoned ghost town, but I know you'll get there someday. Thanks for being such an awesome member of this chat, Mattman, and you're helping me out so much, so I really appreciate you in this chat. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Let me try to raid this guy that raided us yesterday. I don't know how to do that. Let's see if we can figure it out. I have no idea how to do this. Gotta type in my code. So I see this guy's stream. Oh, I probably have to go to my channel settings. iPlays fam. Raid Ninja. Great idea. Stream video producer. Okay, I don't know if there's any secret information on here. Let's see. Community insights. Stream manager. Raid channel. We're raiding iPlays fam. Start raid. I don't really know if I'm doing this right, but funny.